just better just be up on it.
Just literally on it.
Just be up on it.
All right.
I mean, in the middle of the podcast, sometimes we'll yell at people. We'll be like, "Hey,
I can't hear you.
you can't hear you. You
Get the fuck out.
You got to get up on that mic." But I don't think it'll be a problem. How was your travels out here? How was it? Was it good?
Yeah, it was good. It wasn't bad. I mean, I love taking the train.
I was about to say, she is so city. She loves the train.
I love taking the train.
She's like, she goes, what? She hits me up. She's like, what station is near you? I go, well, I guess Roslyn. Roslyn's probably the closest. She's like, okay. Oh, good. 1:30 train. I was like, oh, train. I hate the train.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Every time that I rent a car, I'm like, oh, I could do this forever. And then I get on the train. I was like, oh, this is so relaxing. There's no traffic. I don't need to care about it.
And
I know what time I'm getting places.
And
I know what
dead
time I'm
now.
leaving. Yeah, there's
nobody.
There. I had to haul ass a little bit because the train is a lot shorter than the station.
Okay.
And I didn't realize that. So I'm like standing there and I see the train. I was like, ah, shit.
2 time and it just going running.
Oh, yeah.
Double hustle.
At least they saw me, so they didn't leave. That would have sucked. I've had to like stick my arm on the Metro North before, which is not as fun as doing it just the regular subway.
Thing just closing on you. Like,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
it. This is how I lose my arm. This is it.
I had a bruise and it was just like not
Oh, that was
cute.
aggressive.
Oh, yeah.
Aggressive,
no.
aggressive ass train doors.
Yeah, pretty much.
They're
So-
being as nice as they can right now. They just want anybody to come on.
Yeah.
That's what I was
It's
going to say.
it's so dead. We'll wait 20 minutes for you. No problem.
You're like, take your time.
Well, think about it, because I forget who posted. Somebody posted it online. They posted, what was it? It was like 5:30 in the afternoon on the Patchogue line, and there was nobody, not a single person on the train.
Really?
Now, granted, it could have been like one train car, and everyone could have been slammed in the front of the
Yeah.
train. Who knows? But 5:30 in the evening. That's usually the slammed
packed,
time.
yeah.
I mean,
it doesn't matter where you're coming from, whether it is Subway, Metro North, Long Island Railroad, it's always packed.
and you're coming from Queens.
Yeah, I came from Woodside.
Okay, so you come from Queens, and then a lot of your shit that you do is in the city.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm mainly in Manhattan, at least for the time being.
during this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
during this, we'll see what that goes.
I mean, it's very interesting because John owns a gym. So John owns a
cool.
personal training studio. I know you guys don't really know much about each other, which is cool because you'll learn about each other during this adventure. But the interesting thing to see and hear is how business owners are kind of adapting and changing their styles because. I mean, for a while there, you could probably attest. A lot of people were scared to go in and do personal training.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah, for
so
sure.
it turned all virtual. I mean, I'm sure, and you could probably tell me better. I'm sure you had clients that didn't want to do the virtual and they still wanted to do the in-person stuff.
Yeah,
And then it's
for
like, where do
sure.
you go? It's like parks and
There's only so much you can do, really. I think that, I mean, the best investment that I made at the beginning of quarantine was just getting a huge set of resistance bands. Mainly for myself, because when everything shut down, all of my clients were like, well, don't know what we're going to do. And half of my clients I was training, or at least 2 or 3 I was training at gyms, like independent training gyms. And then the other half, I was training them in their buildings. Like I have 4 clients that have gyms in their building. So everything shut down like in the same day or within the couple of days. So I think it was like March 16th, the commercial gym shut down. And then the next day, like I was able to even train clients in their like condo gyms maybe the next morning. And then I started getting text messages like, we're getting emails, everything's shut down, we can't train. So I think everyone was trying to like finagle what they're going to do with their own lives and then figure out the gym. Because, we know everything comes secondary when it's like fitness and nutrition and diet. Like everything. It's like, wait, let's put that on hold.
Yeah.
So it's definitely
when it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
When
Everybody's
theoretically it shouldn't be.
Everybody's getting sick. Let's put health on the back end right now.
Exactly. But it took a little while, and then people were like, okay, just come to my apartment. I don't give a shit. Like, let's just train outside. It's fine. I'm like, okay. But that's how I got started with the virtual stuff. I started teaching group classes like that, and then I started teaching in one-on-one training sessions like that. Because for the first couple of months myself, I didn't know what the hell I was going to do. I was kind of like, this is overwhelming. I have no idea how to go about it. And some people just jump right on it. You know what I mean? Like a lot of trainers and business owners, like I give them props because you knew exactly what you were doing like the second that the gyms hit, and I was just like, I just need to find my bearings.
Yeah.
So it was definitely challenging, but
It was like its own cultural shock. You just
Yeah.
you sit there and you're just kind of going, well, great.
yeah, for sure.
And this is my main source of income. It's like, where do I go from here? What's the next move to adapt? And like you said, some people just like instantly did it. Other people, they have to take their time and really manipulate and form and plan things out. I mean, the amount of people I know that bought home gym equipment like I did, and they just started training people out of their garages,
Yeah.
and now they have no reason to go back to a gym.
That is
So
true.
it just becomes interesting that you spend all this money into an investment that you used to. I mean, how much do you pay a gym roughly? Like when you're a personal trainer, roughly. It doesn't have to be a specific gym.
I mean, around
Like if
$60,
it's-
$70 for your own membership, and then you're paying your
Yeah.
own like client fees.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Client fees more along the lines. I'm
And then they
saying
have guest passes too.
Yeah. I mean,
members.
client fees are in the city. They'll go between $20 to $50. I mean, my gyms I usually pay $20, $25 per client. But then if you have unlimited passes and all that stuff.
yeah.
But on average, 20 to 25 on a like reasonable gym.
Yeah, so now you start calculating. I mean, if you see 10 clients a day, it starts to add up, and it's like, yeah, that initial investment of what are you doing over there, Kenji? Yo, bro, get out of there.
I'm just checking her bag out.
he's like, I just want to see if she had any snacks in there.
Sorry, buddy.
I didn't smell any, but maybe.
You start to think like, yeah, okay, that squat rack for $1,000, yeah, that sucks to pay, but over the course of a certain amount of time, where do you start getting that money back?
Yeah.
And it's just, it's interesting to think about. This big ass head. Side note, the Japanese Akita breeders, like the group, it's called JACA, Japanese Akitas of America. They absolutely love that he's like in every podcast. He's just gonna come right to the other side.
He's like, this is
Yeah.
amazing. Oh, I know.
This big ass
There's
head.
distraction.
Eventually, he just like
We gotta
he gets,
find him a mic plushie and just glue it to the fucking table.
yeah, just give him
Just,
some,
like,
just make
set
him
his
think
head
feel
on
like he's
there.
important.
Yeah,
Oh, for sure.
you're important, Kenji.
Yeah, I mean, and this was the crappy part with living in the city. We don't have space,
Yeah.
right? I mean, I'm in a 1-bedroom apartment. We have a balcony, which gives us a little bit more room. And we have a rooftop, which was open because our landlord was flexible with that. And that's where I was like teaching my classes. But aside from that, like I can't buy a squat rack and put it on like in the middle of my living room.
Yeah.
There's just no room. So a lot of the times it was people kind of just trying to figure out like, well, this studio apartment in Tribeca sounded like a great idea when I could just spend 3 hours a day in it. So and I think that's how a lot of people left the city because it's just tight.
Have you
in
seen it? Have you
space.
seen a huge decline in people that you see? Because you're in the city more than I am.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And I have clients that are in real estate and they're like, there's just an overwhelming amount of available units now that landlords are just trying to pack it. Like, they'll take anything. People like you'll look at rentals now and they're like so cheap.
Yeah.
It's like this is the best time to move into the city.
Yeah, I'm sure. I know a lot of people that have been moving down south. It's interesting though because John's logic is pretty much the same as me in terms of like you move somewhere else and it's going to be
Well, if you-
items are going to cost the same amount like you buy from Amazon. So it's
Yeah.
like you're making New
Yeah.
York money and people are like, "Oh, well, it's cheaper to move down to North Carolina." It's like, "Okay, yeah, but are you going to get paid the same?" Can you physically charge, and I don't know rates, I don't know how really strongly they differ city to city, but like can you really charge the same that you're charging for a New York personal training session that you could down south? I mean, maybe if
yeah,
you're
that I don't know.
No way. No way.
I mean, I'd assume not because I know people in like Texas and, I have one of my best friends lives in South Carolina and she's just like, yeah, everything is so cheap. Because, I mean, she gets paid virtually too. All of her work is remote. So she's getting paid what she's getting paid. And she was just like, yeah, I wanted a gym and it was just dirt cheap. And I was like, great. I could never be a personal trainer down there. And that's where the online stuff comes around. It's just like, well, you pay what you pay and this is your rate. This is the service you're providing. And that allows you more mobility.
It's a new industry.
Yeah.
Even when I was a crunch trainer in Manhattan, the sessions there ran the cheapest, like $99 for like a 16-pack. It was a special they had. Out here, not $16, $99 would be like a regular standard session, where a regular one out there would be, $150. So not even state to state, just Manhattan to Long Island, you see that price difference already.
Is that really what you could do? Charge a personal training session in the city? $150?
I was charging $150 an hour at Crunch. I wasn't getting that, but that was Crunch's rates.
Damn.
Yeah, if you're going to a commercial gym, that's what they're charging the least. And that's like a regular like a single personal training session.
Yeah.
And then you have like your level tier 2 trainers and
buy
specialists.
Eight and get
and
one free. Is
master
Yeah.
trainers and all that stuff. And it was just like, you see how much they're paying the trainers, you see how much they're charging the clients. And I was like, I could do this and just charge my own goddamn prices.
Yeah.
But for independent training, yeah, you'll find people paying anywhere from $100 to $250, depending on the clientele that you have. But I would say at this point in time, industry average is like $120, $150.
Is that I know that you probably know the city spots way better than me, obviously, but there's that spot Dog Pound. I know they're exclusive-ish, right? They do a lot of celebrity training.
Yeah, but Dog Pound has their own trainers. So they have their like own staff.
Mhm.
And I think they have a place in LA now as like from like a year and a half
Yeah.
ago. But yeah, they have a great clientele and great client list, but you also can't use the gym unless you have a training session. So they've made it a very like boutique style of, I guess.
It's Apple. It's Apple's ecosystem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's
Oh,
just
you
like-
want to get an Android phone, huh? Well, you're not gonna have iMessage. You're not gonna have FaceTime. Like it's just
Hope
like,
you don't want
God,
everything transferred
yeah.
over.
shit. Dude, I was looking at an Android. All the new iPhones came out. I was looking at an Android phone recently. I'm like, I could, and then I'm like, but I send so much stuff on iMessage. It's on all my computers. I'm like,
It's,
I got the
it's
watch.
running your life now. You can't go back. That's how I feel about my phone too. I'm just
Oh
like,
my God.
but everything is just synced.
Yeah,
I just get
so
the same
convenient.
message everywhere.
And they got me because I got the Apple credit card too, and that's
yeah, I
through
didn't go
Goldman
that way.
Sachs.
Mhm.
And you can't pay the bill or do anything if you don't have the app on your iPhone. So it's like they really lock you in. The card's cool too. I don't know if I have my wallet over here.
It's
I
like
do.
white. Yeah, I think one of my clients
Have
has
you
it.
seen it?
Yeah.
Titanium. Shit is awesome, man. I'm a huge fan. I like all that glitzy, glammy shit. And I'll tell you, before COVID, the coolest thing about it, Apple send the check, by the way. The coolest thing about it is,
This is heavy too. It's
right?
just like, oh, you're
Yeah.
big. You made it.
yeah, put that down on the table at dinner. I'm like, yeah, by the way, you know what I'm saying? Oh, what, platinum cards? We don't mess with those. The cool thing about that is prior to COVID, obviously opening a bar tab, you don't want to leave your card there. This has no numbers on it.
Oh.
Yeah,
No one
that's
can
nice.
steal
Yeah,
shit.
that, I didn't know that.
There's no date. There's no nothing. Everything lives in the app on your phone. And any charges you get, it geotags all the locations. I'm a nerd. I love this shit. So
I
like,
didn't know
so like
that.
you buy a protein bar at GNC on Fifth Ave, like it'll show you the exact GNC you just bought that from on Apple Maps.
Wow.
So like you see a charge that doesn't make sense. It's like I haven't been in Tennessee in 20 years. Like
Yeah.
it's like I don't know where that charge came from. And you hit them up, and they actually do all of the live chat through iMessage with a Goldman Sachs representative.
So you're just texting them.
You're just texting them.
I need to get on that.
Listen,
Yeah,
it's
no
pretty.
kidding.
It's pretty sick,
I
and
need
they
to
give
improve
you
my customer service.
and they give you what do they give you? They give you 2% back if you use Apple Pay, and 3% cash back instantly. Goes right into your Apple Cash app. So like,
Oh yeah, I also got like someone sent me money the other day through like Apple Wallet or Apple
that's
Cash.
it. That's it.
And
yeah.
I was just like, oh my God, how it's not set. I was like, I had to link it and put my bank account. I was like, I've never used this. I use Venmo and I use PayPal.
the
and
first bit of anxiety before.
I was like, oh
when
my
you're-
God.
Yeah. Where's the money?
The money's in limbo. Where do I get it?
Like, it's just floating somewhere.
But I like that they sent you the money before you have an account. Like, hey, Apple's like, you got to make an account now.
You're like, yeah, by the way, you have this money, but you can only get it if you open an account.
That's how they do it. That's
Blackmail.
Here's the question. The question is, I want to get the new iPhone. So it's like, do I get it through AT&T like I've always been doing it? Because I do the upgrade programs.
Yeah, I have that too.
Yeah, which is great. It's like 30 months, whatever it is. It's like you can upgrade your phone after a year and a half, I think it is, or as long as 80% of the phone is paid off. Great.
Oh no, that's different than what I do.
Oh, is it?
Because Apple has their own program, but they can
Upgrade
only,
program.
They can only do it with certain companies.
Okay.
So it's like AT&T, and then there's another one. I mean, T-Mobile. I have T-Mobile too, and that's how I did it. I was like, oh, I'll get a brand new phone whenever I want to.
You're like,
It's
fuck
great.
yeah, I'll do it. Well, I did that last year, and then I didn't realize that they changed it from being 24 months, so I could upgrade every year, to now 30-month contracts. So
that sucks.
before I can upgrade, I still have like $400 to pay off of the phone's value. So what I think I'm going to do going forward is the next phone I'm just going to wind up keeping, because it's such a waste of money to be buying a phone every
Well, that's
year.
what I do. I just run a phone to the ground.
Yeah, it's such a waste of money. But you know me though, like I'm always on my phone between everything I do, the photos. I need that latest battery.
The processor
life.
has to run with all the stuff you're sending over.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
for me, I think what I'm going to do now is with the Apple credit card, they do 2 years, no interest financing, right on the card.
I just buy the phone and that's
Buy the
it.
phone, and I'll buy it unlocked. So if I decide to change carriers, do anything, I'm like good. So it's like I'm forward thinking. I'm trying to just I'm trying to save money by spending money. It's weird. It's weird how that works.
Apple's probably gonna call you at the end of this podcast.
Oh yeah, I mean, they
They
better
listen to every episode.
with the plug. Yo, Tim, hit me up, man. Let's go. Let's get this deal cut. They're just gonna send us a little basket of apples. Like, here you go. There's your sponsorship. enjoy those.
And they'll bill your card.
Yeah, they built up the
the
Apple card.
account.
They go, here's some galas, and we got some Honey Crisp at the bottom. Enjoy.
They'll bite them all too.
Just one little
There'll be
bite.
one bite mark.
The logo.
But yo, seriously, thank you for coming down.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. I mean, I there's so much to talk about, but I think your roots are very interesting. Which I found out more about when you were asking me if Rita, what type of Portuguese
yeah.
Rita spoke.
I was like, it's like you can smell your own. You're like, where's the other Brazilian in the room? I know there's another one here. I'm like, do they speak
It's
Portuguese?
radar. It's built-in radar. That's what
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah, pretty much.
So now, like, bring it back for me. So, obviously, were you? I think you told me this already. You were born.
I was born in New York.
Yes, you were born here,
My-
but you speak fluent.
Yeah, my parents were here. My dad, I think, had just finished like grad school. My mom came with him, and I was born here. And they decided to move back to Brazil when I was 3.5. They wanted me to be raised by, near my family, have like a Brazilian cultural background, which I am very happy for. And then when I turned a little bit before I turned 15, or right after, I moved back here because my mom came back from work, and I've been here ever since. So I moved here for like sophomore year of high school, which was rough.
I'm sure.
Which was rough. And then I stayed through college, and I haven't left.
Okay. And like, how was that? What was that like to go back and almost like back and forth? Because you started here. And I'm
Yeah.
sure did you learn English, or were they talking to you in Portuguese?
Well, so
It's Portuguese, right?
Portuguese,
Okay.
yeah.
Just wanna make sure.
um,
I won't sound stupid.
oh no, half people was like, you speak Brazilian, right? I was like, no, not at all.
I guess so.
Sure.
Yeah, whatever. Cool.
So, my parents, they had this rule where apparently they'd speak with me in Portuguese when we're home, and then outside it was only English, so that I could like associate, like Portuguese with the family, English when like with everyone else. Of course, every kid that's bilingual, like it takes you a little longer. So, until I was maybe like 3 years old, I was mixing up like Portuguese and English, and like
What
the
was
middle-
harder, English or Portuguese?
I mean, I don't remember, to be honest, but from what they tell me, it was just like I was pretty good until all of a sudden it was just like split, and it was fine. But like my dad was was very big on like home videos.
Okay.
So I would like watch home videos. It's just like half the sentence would be in Portuguese, and then like, one word would be in English, or like I'd have a really thick accent in Portuguese, like while I was speaking English. So, but I never remember having a hard time while I was growing up back home. Portuguese at that point in time was my first language. That's what I consider it until today, although I speak much more English than I do Portuguese at this point in time. And we learn English back home as a second language. So I still, even though I wasn't as fluent while I was growing up, I still had the exposure. And then when I was 12, that's when I came to visit my mom for the first time, and that's when I was just like trying to like put it to practice. And I always understood better than I spoke. And then it was when I got here to high school that I was kind of like cultural shock, figure it out, At that point in time, I was taking more advanced English classes in Brazil because I knew that I was going to have to go to school here. So I needed to like have fairly good grammar and writing styles and all that stuff. But it was still hard. Like the first year, I think 6 months to a year, it was just like, shit.
Yeah.
Like teenagers here are mean. Like teenagers everywhere are mean. But especially in United
American
States,
kids are dicks.
and especially in Manhattan, like people here just have a thicker skin that like you don't. Like, it took me a few years, and I would go back home, and they're like, you're different. What's happened to you?
You've changed.
You're bitchier. I was like, I don't know what to tell you. It's New York.
Yeah, well, guess what?
I survived.
Guess what? You go through a New York winter, too, and you be the same way.
God, it was rough. Yeah, it was rough. And then, like, the whole college experience, too, was very different because, like, back home, you just don't move around as much. Like, you grow up in a city. Maybe you go to college somewhere else if, like, there's a really good school there, but everything is federally funded. And here, like, kids can't wait to just peace out. Like, I'm going to California. I'm going to Minnesota. I'm going, you know what I mean? Like, and I was just like, no, I'm going to stay here. I'm going to stay here. That's fine. I don't want to. So I ended up going to, I went to Brooklyn College for a year because, one, I had no idea what I wanted to do. Like, absolutely no idea.
I think that's pretty much everybody.
Yeah.
But, well, in Brazil, if you don't know what you're doing, you take a gap year. Like you take a gap year, you go travel, you go backpacking in Europe or whatever the case may be, and you live life and you figure out what your interests are.
I did it so wrong.
If we do that here, you go bankrupt.
like one, you go
That's how it
bankrupt
works
and
here.
you'll never go back to college.
Never.
So I think here there's just like this rhythm of like, since you're doing it, you might as well keep going.
Yeah.
So I applied and I knew I wanted to like work with people because I've always been like a people person, and I started at Brooklyn College, transferred to Hunter for psychology, and just graduated there. And never decided that I didn't want a master's, and that's what it was, because I was already in the fitness industry at that point in time when I finished school.
So now, did you not want to? I don't know if you.
I was going to ask what you went to school for.
Psychology.
Okay.
I mean, I wanted to do physical therapy for a while because I knew that I like loved.
That's the root of a lot of people that are into the fitness industry.
Yeah, that's the route to where where it all started for me as well. In terms of like sports and rehab and get into weightlifting and not being able to stop. So because of that, I wanted to go into PT because I've been through so many physical therapists, and there's so many good ones, but there are more shitty ones.
Oh yeah.
Because you know what I mean? Like they just treat you like you're 85-year-old person.
Okay, grab
Yep.
the resistance band, pull it back.
And it's rough. I mean, I've been a competitive athlete since I was 7 years old. And to have that treatment, I was just like, I can't do it. Like I need to be the person that reinvents the wheel. And then I did like one summer, because they require like 100 hours of volunteer work in a PT clinic to really make sure you want it. And it works because I didn't want it. By the 100th hour, I did not want it.
I was going to say, she hit hour 7. She was like, God,
Fuck
damn,
this.
this is fucking
I was
rough.
just like, there are only so many heat pads I can put back into the water bin. It was just depressing. It was just sad and depressing. And I was just like, I don't think I can experience this day in, day out. This is going to suck.
Well, I mean, for me at least, it's like you think that if you're getting into PT, you think it's right off the bat, it's going to be treating athletes, treating
yeah.
like you're running up the spectrum of top physical specimens on the range, and it's just like, nah, it's
Saving
grandpa.
their careers.
It's grandpa who slipped and fell, and
for a
his
very long
knee
time.
and his knee ain't working anymore. It's like that's what you're dealing with for
Karen.
90% of the time.
Karen sprained her toe and doesn't think she's going to walk again.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie, man. You keep saying the Karen term. My
Except
Karen,
your mom.
my mom.
Except your mom.
Karen, my Karen's gonna get so upset. She hears
She's gonna
that
be like,
shit.
I don't
She
understand.
takes it personally.
She
hears somebody.
does?
Oh, she hears somebody say that. She goes,
Oh,
"What is that
no.
supposed to mean?" I'm like, "Whoa, exactly
you.
what you're exhibiting. Please, fucking relax. Scaring everybody. There's a child over there.
Just go calm down, Karen.
Keep your hair long, please."
That'd be it right there.
But yeah,
this is why.
Yeah, but that's exactly what I would think if I got into the PT realm. And listen, at one point, I did want to. You start to analyze, exactly like we said. You start to analyze where you're at in your current life and day to day passions and hobbies. Fitness, physical fitness, which I want to hear why it became so prevalent in your life. Physical fitness is so relevant to a lot of us that you start to think, well, should it be medical? Should it be PT? And
Yeah.
I did the same exact analyzation. I wanted to be a lawyer originally. And then I started taking the classes and I was like, well, there's a lot of fucking unemployed lawyers. And I'm like,
You're like, no thanks.
I'm good. I don't feel like going to law school. And then I said, well, who makes a lot of money? I said, oh, hospitals. I said, what about anesthesiology? I'm like, yeah, I can't get touched with a needle or the alcohol swab without passing out cold.
Really?
I don't think that's going to work.
Yeah, not for you.
You're
So
gonna mess that one up.
I wound up just kind of doing communications and business. And every time I talk about college and my mom says, don't you dare say it, I go, it was a fucking waste. It was a waste of time for me. Now, I'm sure with your degree is a lot different for you. In psychology, I think, especially taught you a lot about what you'd be dealing with from resistance of clients and the mentality side of it. But for me,
Yeah.
it's like I wound up just branching off and doing my own thing because I realized I didn't want to be a PR major. I didn't want to have to
Yeah.
write press releases the rest of my life. And, my cousin works for, she worked for L'Oreal or something like that. She works for a company that does all the campaigns for all these makeup companies. It's like, yeah, okay, her job looks fun, but it's like, not for me, man. That's what I
Yeah.
want. That's what I'm supposed to sit there and do the rest of my life. It's like, nah.
Yeah, it's tricky. So psychology definitely helps. And I think that, you have to be really specific into,
Is he right there?
yeah, really specific into
Come here.
what your area of interest is, because they pretty much just say you have X number of classes you're required to take. Everything else is kind of like just stack up the credits.
Yeah.
So I mean, you have to be a little bit more meticulous in terms of like what is it that I enjoy. So for me, it was like developmental psychology, children's psychology, pathology, and all that stuff. Which a lot of it's tedious. It's a lot of lecture. It's a lot of lecture, not a lot of application, of course, because you're not, it's not clinical. So that was always really tough for me. But I always enjoyed the subject. I always enjoyed, I had great professors. So the being able to experience the application and kind of live through different courses that I've taken since I graduated I think that's where I get the most amount of like bang for my buck when it comes to like my college degree.
Gotcha.
But of course my family was like, "Oh, you're going to be a therapist?" I was like, "No." Not at all.
So theoretically, not theoretically, realistically, you are happy with the course of action that you took collegiately.
I mean, looking back at it, I think that if I knew where I would be now, I would have gone a different route for sure. I probably would have gone into like exercise science or nutrition.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I would have taken those steps much sooner, so that I could be maybe ahead into my, my business, my career, things like that. But I think that because I started with psychology, now I have a different approach to my, online coaching, to my one-on-one clients, to even myself as an athlete. So, I mean, sounds cliche, but shit happens for a reason,
Yeah.
like you go through it and then you have no idea why it's happening. And then at the end of the day, you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense now.
Yeah.
So
the puzzle pieces are coming together.
Yeah. And everyone brings them together in a different pace, right? I have friends and I know people that are my age or a little younger and they have like gyms and businesses. And I'm like, holy crap. Like, well, I'm not making that much. And I was like, well, I'm happy with what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think it's at the end of the day, if you're passionate about what you do for a living, it doesn't matter. Like you make it work until it becomes profitable. Unless you're just running us off the ground for like 10 years, then it's just like, okay.
Yeah, at some point
you gotta pay some bills.
Step back and go, yeah, maybe this isn't the right thing.
This is a good hobby.
Yeah, maybe I gotta switch this shit up.
Yeah, but there's definitely some like, strapping your boots and just getting ready for some tough shit. And I think that for me that happened a couple of times actually. First when David Barton Gym closed. So when I started training, I used to work at New York Sports Club. I worked there for just a short period of time. And a friend got me an interview at David Barton Gym.
Just real quick, is that the gym that had like the church ceiling?
Yes.
Oh, I thought so.
Yes.
Okay.
So David Barton Gym was very, very personal training oriented. And it was a great place for me to get started because we had like workshops and educational sessions and all this stuff and applications. So it was, and that's why the reason why I was referred to that job, they're like, you're brand new, you're still green, like let's not mess you up. I'm going to send you somewhere where I know you're going to learn. And I'm very, very glad that I started there. I met amazing trainers, amazing, fitness professionals. I learned, I want to say 90% of what I know now as a personal trainer from the people that I came across there. But my kind of first reality check came when the company went bankrupt and they closed. And they closed from like today to tomorrow. Like tomorrow, they're like, our doors are closed. You can't train your clients anymore.
Yeah. It reminds me of, because that was the one around Chelsea, right?
Yeah, there was one in Chelsea and then I was working at the one near the East Village. Okay,
because I was working right in Chelsea, but it's like what Steel Gym in the city did. You remember that? Mm-hmm. Where, just so you know, what happened was, I think they gave like discounted yearly memberships,
and then they closed.
They were calling everybody up like, hey, you want to renew for the year? It's X amount instead of this much. And then the next day, it was a fucking padlock on the door.
Wow.
And they did that a little bit after David Barton because I remember going to Steel a couple of times, like a little bit before the gym closed. And I was like, okay, let me try to get some new clients. I knew someone that, was training there. And they got me a couple of sessions. And a month later, they're like, well, the gym's closed. I was like, oh, I'm glad I didn't join.
Yeah.
What happens in an instance like that?
Well,
what happens?
If it's like a crunch, you can go after them. But that's like if I took memberships and closed my doors tomorrow, who are you going to call?
Yeah.
Ghostbusters?
Exactly.
Yeah, to find my dead body.
You're better off. No, I think so. We got lucky that the VP at the time he was really, really working hard to get us paid. I mean, we had to wait like a month or so to get paid for that pay period, but he made sure we got paid. And
good.
then all clients, I called them. I was just like, call your credit card company. Like, they'll give you your money back if you say that they closed their doors for good.
Yeah.
So a lot of my clients were able to get their money back. Some people were paying cash. Some people were paying like $50,000 for personal training sessions, like annual sessions, and they were paying cash. And
50
they're like,
G's?
I mean, I had a client that she was just like, sorry, I can't train for a very long time because I put a lot of money down. And I was like, okay. I mean, what are you going to say? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I get
you
it.
feel their pain, and they're like, it is what it is. And I was lucky that all of the clients that were able to get, some clients understood, and they were like, okay, we'll pay session by session wherever we train. And some of the clients were like, okay, I just called my company. I'm getting the money back. We're fine. But a lot of people lost a lot of money.
Oh, that's like
rough.
sick. That's like sickening shit. You know, it's funny because my mom, back when I joined Bev's for the first time in 2012, my mom told me, she's like, you sure you want to join this gym, Nick? Because, if it goes under, you're not going to get your money back because it's such a private gym. You don't want to join like a bigger box gym. And I'm like, because she didn't know the culture. She didn't know anything about it at that point. And I'm like, nah, Mom. I said, I want to join there. And it's just, when you think about that, privatized gyms and what they probably, how many scumbag people probably pull that move over on people. Like, yeah, we claimed bankruptcy, but I grabbed everybody's money before I left.
Yeah.
Fast cash grab.
Oh, for sure. And I'm sure a lot of that happened during quarantine. There were like a couple of gyms were open, but not all gyms were open. And then if you're like Head Connects and stuff like that, you're just paying cash. And then they're like, well, sorry, government said we got to close now.
Change your phone number real quick.
Yeah.
Bev's did it right, man. They I mean, my membership, I do the August special every year, so my membership isn't up until now February.
Yeah.
So they prorated it. They pushed
good.
it off. I didn't think they were going to.
That's good.
I thought maybe like they'll give us a couple months, but I mean, listen, that's more than you could say for a lot of, like you just said, a lot of people. That gym in what is it, fucking Hicksville? That gym in Hicksville, they said they closed down. Ultimate.
Oh yeah.
He said he was closing down, and then all of a sudden, like a month later, he's like, "Yeah, we're open. Here's our
That's
membership
fine.
fees." I'm like, "What happened to closing?" I mean, not that I'm upset that you stayed open. Good for you, but it's like,
Yeah,
But now
I
what's
think
going
people
on?
get scared too. It's just like, okay, let's close it because that's, until you figure it out. Again, like we said at the beginning, it's just like everyone is going to figure out their own mess in their own time.
It's a weird industry to just close though and figure something out, because if your gym closed and you figure something out, you'd get a new gym membership tomorrow.
That is true.
And you would stay at that new place that's not closing on you randomly.
That is true.
So for them to shut their doors and say, we'll figure it out for a bit, well, you come back, you open, there's nobody there.
Why?
There's nobody left.
Yeah, like, why am I coming? Why would I come back?
It's not that personal where you're the trainer, they came with you. But if we had to work at a Gold's tomorrow or Planet Fitness or whatever, we'd get it done if our place closed.
Yeah, that is true.
I mean, your video is like right there, by the way, which you're training in the.
Oh yeah, I can't wait.
You were training in the mask. I mean, I could show you when we're done. I could show you how we're doing, but it's like there's like 2 seconds left that I have to figure out, manipulate a little bit. But like, how we like in training in masks? How do you like it?
I hate it.
Fuck that.
I knew that's
and
where
I'll
we
repeat
were
this.
going.
I hate it.
Oh, emphasis on the hate.
Yep.
It's just, I mean, I get I mean, they have guidelines. It is what it is. Like, you know what I mean? Like you want to train. It's like taxes. You pay your taxes, or you pay a fee, or you go to jail. You know what I mean? Like,
You do it out of respect to the gym owner.
There's just some
Right.
things that like the owner can't really do much about it. It is what it is. But it's hard. It's hard to breathe. It's hard to lift heavy.
You were squatting in the video too, with the mask on and
I
everything.
was struggling. I was like, and then you breathe, and then the mask goes into your nose. It's a hot mess. But I mean, you gotta, like, every once in a while, you like pull like down the nose.
Yeah, you just go like this.
Yeah.
Go,
You like pull it down the nose so you can like take a deep breath, and then you keep going. It's hard. I mean, I have when I train my clients in their homes or at the park, I tell them, I was like, if you want me to wear a mask, I'll wear a mask. If you want to wear a mask, wear a mask. If you don't want to, I'm not gonna force you. And they
I'm sure they respect that.
They respect it. Some of them, like to wear it. Some of them started with it because I think everyone was scared, and then now they're like, nah, it's okay.
Nobody's pissed off.
Yeah, now it's just like, I can't breathe. It's fine. But yeah, I definitely don't like it. I have my own, like, I was just like, it just can't breathe. Plus, I know people that like work in healthcare, and I mean, I'm sure there's like many different opinions and scientific reasonings behind it.
They trash people like us. They're like, I could run 50 miles with the mask on. It's like, all right, man, I get it. You can run, you can do it, but it's not comfortable and it's not great for you.
No.
Yeah, and they're just like, we're exhausted all day. We wear these things plus another mask, and then like all these different layers of. I was just like, oh my god, this is miserable.
But I don't want to do it.
Yeah, I was
that's
like,
why I don't work that job.
If I had the option, I wouldn't wear it. Like, but when I go to the gym, I was like, I'm happy to be lifting. I'm happy to be training again. So, I'll suck it up and deal with it. It's kind of like the approach is just like, well,
it's take what we can get right now.
Yeah, exactly.
I've been doing accessory stuff at Bev's.
Yeah.
Like I haven't been going every day. I thought I was going to go every day, but then obviously I built everything in my garage. So it's like
you have an entire conditioning gym there.
I do. I really do. I'm waiting to get a little bit more space in there. My mom's got to get rid of some more of her shit that's just like crowding the front of the thing. We have this antique. By the way, anybody listening, we have this antique. This is a plug for me. Don't send the check. I'll give it to you. Like we have this antique radio from my great grandmother. It's pretty cool, but it doesn't work and it's just in the way. It's like Kenji. It's big and in the way. Like,
he's passed out.
I know. Well, he's been circling us like a tiger shark. I was wondering when the pass out was going to happen, but once I get that open, like that space open again, then I'll have more room. Because like right now, I'm like, when I put the landmine attachment on, I'm like in this much of an area. So I'm trying to do meadow rows, and I'm like this in the corner. I'm like, oh God, I just don't touch anything. But I'll do, like today I'm supposed to train legs. I started Meadows program again. So today I'm supposed to train legs. What sucks is it calls for hamstring curls.
Yeah.
Can't really do that at the house. So I'm going to have to like do a makeshift, put a really tight resistance band around the rack, and then lay on the bench and just like use one leg at a time.
That's how I was doing hamstring curls.
Yeah, I besides glute bridges for hamstrings and glutes, and besides
extensions,
stiff leg deadlifts, and that's pretty much it. That's really all I kind of can think of, because there's obviously when you go to Bev's, there's a machine for everything over there.
Yeah, you're spoiled. You're like most gyms are like, you have a seated hamstring curl, you have a lying hamstring curl, and then that's that.
Yeah, no.
At Bev's, you have this angle hamstring curl, you have a unilateral one, you could choose to be one leg or two legs. So you go to this angle, you got plates, you got pin loaded. I'm like,
do you want to hit the hamstring curl machine that hits it 15 degrees off axis, but kind of so north and neutral that it kind of slightly hits a little bit of quad? Do you want to hit that one? Because we have that. We got that machine in the corner.
And what's nice about Bev's is it's never broken. Something breaks at Bev's, it's fixed the next day.
Oh yeah. I don't think I've ever seen anything
Steve has no
broken
tolerance
there.
for that shit. He's like, get it fixed, Lou.
No, but that
you never see something out of commission there long.
Yeah, no, my gym sometimes we're like, it's been 2 months.
Yeah. No, Steve makes a call and it's fixed like within the hour. They're like getting over there. Sorry, Steve. I'm sorry. This will never happen again.
He's like, it's okay. It's done. It's done.
I like watching Steve walk around now like a shark, looking for people without masks on. Oh, that is my new. I might actually just shoot a self-promoted documentary on Steve and his looking out for people not wearing their masks in his gym, because he's
not fucking around.
He'll prowl around, and when he catches you, oh boy,
you can launch it for next Shark Week.
Could you? Well, the crazy thing is, I was talking to. Oh God, I forget who I was talking to. Somebody. I don't know. I was talking to somebody that goes to Bev's, and we were talking just back and forth about. He's like, "Hey, what do you think is going to happen with the mask?" This is before it opened. What do you think is going to happen with the mask? You think Steve's going to make the mask mandatory? I go, yeah, man.
Like he has to.
This is his fucking
or
business.
He'll close.
He's been down since March. Yeah, and guess what? I said, could you imagine being the guy that shut Steve's gym down because you weren't wearing his mask?
He'll find you.
I said, yo, good.
They'll all find you.
Good.
He's like, I know
luck.
where you live. I'll find you.
Steve will put your address out and let the bodybuilders handle it.
On Bev's Instagram page. Here you go. Enjoy.
It's his fault.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but to get back to the point of masks, they do suck to train in. My recovery is what's really shitty. So like I was doing 120s on shoulder press with dumbbells, and I did it for like 6 reps. I could have done 2. I could have squeezed 2 more out. Literally couldn't catch my breath.
It takes a long time to recover.
I threw him down and I had to walk. I thought I was going to pass out. I actually had to go outside, run outside, and pull the mask off because I just couldn't catch my breath.
It's definitely harder to recover, especially with your big, like either very heavy lifts or your compound movements. It's hard.
Yeah.
Like people's like, you're underestimating how this deadlift is going to make you feel in about 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And I mean, I get winded just from doing lunges. Like lunges feel like cardio regardless.
Yeah.
Add a mass to that.
Now you got a piece of fabric for your face.
You're like,
Yeah. And it goes right into your mouth. Oh my God, I'm dying, I swear.
the worst. I mean,
I got to get you one of my buddy Matt. My buddy Matt makes masks.
oh, that's the one that you were wearing when we
Tier.
took the video.
I got to
right?
get you
Yeah.
one. I got to get you one too, big guy. I don't know if that beard will fit under there. That galore.
That's the biggest.
How do you manage that? Like,
It's such a pain in the ass because I have this one that it kind of like goes around my neck and I can pull it up. It's one of those like sleeves.
yeah,
Mad Max style.
If I wear a regular mask, I look like a fucking crazy person.
because it just kind of like sits here, doesn't it? Like I've seen other people in the train. I'm like,
But what'll happen? I'll have like hairs going out this way and underneath, and then I'll get like,
Offset on his face by 50 feet.
yeah, I'll get like a mask beard, not a mask beard. Yeah, like a mask beard, like bedhead.
Yeah.
So I can't it's stuck out here all
It's
day. I
just
can't
flat
fucking
here and
push
the
it
other
down.
hairs.
oh my god, it just like flops up.
Yeah.
I think I'm just gonna grow this out and just put it up here with a little pin tie.
Oh yeah,
There's a
good.
beard mask.
That'll be your mask.
That'd be
yeah.
perfect.
You'll be
That'd be
fine.
perfect. Yeah. I mean, it'll basically block the same amount as most 90% of the masks.
Tame the beast, figure it out.
Tame the beast, figure it out. By the way, you can take those if you want for you and your clients. Little hand sanitizers. It's the good shit, right? Isn't that like 70 proof or whatever?
70%.
We're drinking it. We're getting fucked up tonight.
with
Yeah.
aloe and vitamin E.
Yeah, go get me my cup. Let's just drink that, right? Let's drink that.
So take care of your skin and your germs.
Yes, everything, and just cleanse your esophagus. You know what's crazy? Side note, because we always get all over the place, and I love it. I bought all the accessories for the new iPhone. I'm back
Yes.
on that real quick. Bought all the accessories. The screen protector that I bought, I was actually tempted to bring it today. The screen protector I bought has antibacteria coatings on it now, where it's supposed to resist more bacteria on it.
You know that's bullshit. Right?
Found that super interesting. Found that super interesting that they
He's
would
like-
put that on the box.
He's like, it sounds amazing. Probably a lie. We'll buy it anyway.
Sounds phenomenal.
Or how
Give
about
me
this?
10.
So the top half will be antibacterial,
I
and the
guess.
back half that I'm holding it with won't be.
Yeah.
no. Yeah, all the fecal particles still stay on the back of the phone.
Oh,
Yeah, I went there.
So if you drop your phone, just drop it face first. You'll be all right.
yeah.
I'm not gonna say that.
Crack the screen, but the germs will be off.
I'm not gonna
The
say
germs
the
get in the
company.
cracks.
I'm not gonna say the company because they're not gonna send a check. Neither is Apple though. Yes, Castus. I don't know what that means. Castus antimicrobial technology. Our phones are basically germ collecting devices. We transfer germs from shopping cart handles, doorknobs, and bathrooms every time we touch our phone. The Castus antimicrobial technology in blank kills up to 95% of human coronavirus. 95% of coronavirus? Done.
Wow.
Just the human one, not the
Yeah,
fat
just the
one.
human one,
Yeah.
not the. Or what was it? What was it on South Park?
The pangolin.
The pangolin. Did you watch that yet?
No. Not
South?
yet.
Oh
Did you
my
watch
God.
South Park ever?
Sometimes.
All right, you got to watch their pandemic special. It's fucked up. It's great.
Of
fucking
course they
ludicrous.
do.
So
Of
great.
course they do.
And up to 99.9% of staph and E. coli surface bacteria on your screen. The technology is embedded in the glass itself, so it won't wear off.
Wow.
So now it's technology.
Now you know Cuomo's going to see this shit on a website. He's going to be like, yo, we got to replace every New York City window with that shit. That every restaurant's got to be out of commission until you get these windows. And he's going to buy stock in the company.
Yep.
Probably.
You know, they had something like that when I got some stuff reupholstered for my gym before we officially opened again. They were trying to sell me on like canvas padding that is antibacterial. Like, how the fuck does that work?
How does that make sense?
It doesn't.
They just hit my mom up for UV filters for the air conditioning system in our house. I was like, I mean,
It's like,
UV filters?
But why do you need UV protection?
well, I guess it's
indoors?
just a light circulating germs coming from outside to in. I don't know. I'm
In
not,
case the sun gets in your air conditioner.
in
God
my
forbid.
29 years of life, I've never heard of me or anybody else getting the flu from it coming from outside and hitting them in the house. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah,
I'm not
apparently.
a doctor. I'm a videographer. I don't know a lot. I know how to work a camera. That's about it.
That's usually the response that I get from clients, and I'm sure you probably heard this before. It's just like, yeah, I have this pain inside and here and over there, and it wraps around my back and down my leg. I was like, what should I do? I was like, call your doctor.
That sounds horrible. I'd be like, that sounds horrible.
I was like, for
usually-
sure, call your doctor.
I'm usually
Like,
a smart
don't-
ass about it.
Don't-
I'm like, we're going to have to cut you open.
Well, now everyone's
There's
got
no
the
other way.
now everyone's got the mask on. Every time somebody looks at me at the bank or anything like
Yeah.
that, and everyone just like looking at each other with the mask on, I go, they flew the liver in. I got to go do the transplant. I'm like, look at you, like, why the fuck are you looking at me? We all look stupid wearing these. Please don't look at me. Don't look at me. I'm self conscious. But I gotta get you one of those masks because it's swimsuit material.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's why it's nice.
The less something works, the better.
Yeah, he's like, it's not blocking from anything. He's like, but it's comfortable to wear.
But as long as you're covering it, yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah, it still sucks to squat in it though. I'll be quite honest with you.
I mean, it sucks to squat with anything covering your nose.
Well, that's why. That's kind of the point I was trying to make before. That's why I do most of my main stuff at home. Like today requires squats, so it's like, okay, do I drive to Bev's?
Like, do half the workout at home, drive real quick, get to Bev's.
Imagine I do the
Finish the
hamstring.
workout.
I do the hamstrings, and then I go back home and I squat. Like that's the second half of the workout.
That's way too much.
Yeah,
That's too much work for a leg workout.
No.
I'll tell you, the more I look at home gym equipment, the more I'm just like,
Mom, we're selling your car to make some room.
I could put that. Well, you know my garage.
Yeah.
I could put that in the corner. I could do that. And just like, yeah, all of our shit has to go though. Everything else in the garage, it just doesn't even make sense anymore. And the funny thing is, every time I'm on my way down the stairs to go into the garage to work out, this dude, like he runs down the stairs.
He's like, yeah,
it's
workout time.
He's halfway down the stairs and he looks at me because he wants to see if I'm going out the front door or I'm going to the garage. So he looks at me. He's like this. Yo, what are you doing? I'm like, gym. He goes running into the gym and he starts wrestling me. He's like all excited to be in there. So it's nice. It's a nice space. But on top of training by yourself, it has been extremely hard for me to train without pre-workout. I'm going to be completely honest with you. You don't do caffeine to begin with.
I use a little bit, but nothing crazy.
Oh, dude, I haven't done anything.
Why?
So,
question, why?
But why?
With a little twitch.
You ever watch Sebastian Maniscalco?
Yeah.
He goes, but why would you do that?
Exactly.
That's basically what it is.
Yeah.
So, with what I do for work, it's gonna sound stupid because some people might not understand it. I get super stressed. I get super stressed because I have to hit deadlines. I get super stressed because I have so many doing everything can be a lot.
Yes.
Between shooting, editing, doing everything, like just to taking care of the dog, like just making time for everything could be super stressful. So some days, I mean, there are weeks where I have a shoot every single day, and it just shooting for like 8 to 10 hours sometimes on shoots. Like I was in the city 2 weeks ago, not this past weekend, the one before. I was in the city for 3 days, basically straight. They were like 10+ hour shoots, and then I'd have to go home, go to sleep at like 9 o'clock at night, wake up, and I have to be there back there at 7 a.m. and shoot all day again. And then get home, and now it's like taking care of the dog shit.
Yeah,
so
that's
it's
a lot.
Yeah, so when I do that, and then for a while there, I was drinking at least 2 Reign energy drinks a day.
Jesus.
I was drinking pre-workout, which was about 400 milligrams of caffeine.
Yeah.
And I was having a extra large iced coffee.
See, you're just overdoing it now.
Exactly. On top of, because just to stay awake, to get everything done.
Gotcha.
So on top of all of that, I was going to Derlin. I don't know if you know Derlin Castro. We had him on. He's phenomenal. He used to work on Dorian Yates, works on Triple H. He does a lot of ART. I go to Derlin because I get vertigo spells. And the vertigo spells usually, like I've been narrowing it down over the last couple of years. It usually occurs when I'm super stressed, over-caffeinated, lacking sleep, and it just kind of all hits me at once. And then I'm out for like 6 days. It's like my body telling me, you need to chill the fuck out.
Your body's like, don't be a jerk.
Yeah, you need to chill the fuck out because you're really ripping through us. So Derlin actually has to open up my subluxaminals behind right at the base of the skull, starting at the neck. When I edit, I catch myself. I start leaning forward. When I'm looking at my phone, I lean forward, and that puts pressure on those guys, which tightens them up, cuts off blood supply to the brain, and that causes my vertigo.
So you're getting a tension headache that is so severe that it gets you disoriented.
The room is spinning.
Jesus.
Yeah. So just like there's been lasting effects though. Most years. So like I'll if I look up quickly, like I go from like looking at you up like that, I would feel like almost like I'm falling off a building. Like it's like a very jarring, floaty effect. I can't really explain it.
It's like a quick cutoff of the bloodstream.
I don't know what it is, but it feels horrendous. You feel like if you look up, you feel like you're like kind of like this for a second, and then you get back to normal, like while your body stabilizes. So I said every time I do this, I'm over caffeinated. So I've cut caffeine out for the last probably month. I drank green tea actually the other 2 nights about a week ago. Super jittery because I'm so not used to it now.
Green tea is no joke. I mean, I honestly, I'll be more awake with green tea than I do if I mean, I don't drink. I rarely drink coffee. I think the last time I had a cup of coffee like this week because I met with a friend for coffee. Before that, I cannot tell you when the last time I had coffee was. But because when, you're in contest prep and you're waking up at 4:30 in the morning to do cardio and you have like 10 clients and you have work and this and that, you're going to get excessively caffeinated between the pre-workout, fat burners, all this stuff. So ever since I started competing, whenever I'm not competing, I just don't drink coffee. Like, I'm like, why am I going to overload my body that much if at the other half of the year I'm just going to overdo it? And then I was like, well, let me not be a jerk and just not overdo it, and then even take it easy afterwards. So that's how I started to slowly wean off of everything, like all of the stimulants. And now I'll do like a third of a pre-workout just to get a little kick.
Are you still with the same supplement company?
Yeah. I'm still with Betancourt Nutrition.
Okay. I didn't want to say it, and just in case.
Yeah, no, I'm still with Betancourt Nutrition, and I've been using their stuff for maybe a year and a half now. And
good stuff. I like their supplements a lot.
It's very clean. It's I like it. I like it a lot. And I'm a big believer in just like, why would you represent something that you don't take half the the product?
How many athletes do you know like that? They're with a different supplement company every other week. They're like, oh, this is the best one. No, this is the best one. No. How can I fucking take you seriously? You just said 3 other products were great.
Yeah. I mean, every single company will have items that you don't need. Like, I don't use every single thing they have, but the things that I do have, I really enjoy. I really enjoy it. So it's just kind of like, just take what you need and just, know what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's a supplement company. What do you need to supplement?
Exactly.
Plain and simple.
Exactly.
I have so much pre-workout in my cabinet. It's absurd. I could literally kill somebody. I could probably kill a crowd with how much pre-workout I have in my cabinet. And every time I'm about to go look at it, like work out, I'm just like, oh, I know I'd be like 9 times more intense if I took a little bit of that. But it's just like,
that's how it starts.
I'm feeling good now.
Yeah.
Like I don't feel like that anymore. Even though like I still have to go to Derlin to get my neck worked out. Since I've stopped taking caffeine, this movement doesn't feel jarring at all.
Yeah.
So I do think the caffeine had a lot to do with it. And you know what? I said it last time, and I'll say it again. I had severe anxiety the first week without it. Shaking. Like I was actually like this.
Caffeine withdrawal is no joke.
I was like, damn, this is horrible. I need to just go to bed. And I was going through shoots. Like someone I was shooting with, they would ask me a question, and I just like, for some reason, it would just like get me all like jittered up and nervous. I was like, even though I know the answer, I'm like
anxious. I'm like pissed off.
I'm like a crack addict. Like, what the fuck is
you don't know what's going on.
Wait, what lens did you ask me about?
No, it's the same thing with clients, and I think that is we're now in the industry that is just like perpetually pushing supplements for everyone. Like, yeah, I definitely think that 90% of people don't have, enough of a healthy digestive system that they should be supplementing probably some essential vitamins. But like, you don't need a fat burner to lose weight. You don't need, I'll probably get in trouble for saying this, but you know what I mean? Like, you don't need a lot of that stuff unless, whatever the case may be. But I have clients that they'll reach out to me after, we talk about what they should be eating and how they should be training. They're like, well, but what do you want me to take? I'm like, your daily multi. Yeah. And maybe a digestive enzyme, probiotic, do kombucha. Like, and they're like, oh, but this person, like, I'm like, don't like, let your body do its thing. And I think that that's kind of like a lot of the times people don't like to hear that. And I tell them up front whenever I'm talking to a new person, I'm like, this is how I work. And I would like to get you healthy and get you to lose weight. You know what I mean? Like, I know you want to lose 10 pounds, but guess what? You might have to wait another 2 months with me. And this is how we work.
People just think that now that they have a trainer, since they're paying for it, the weight should come off. Like,
yeah.
I'm going to do exactly what I was doing by myself, but because I'm paying you, now the weight has to fall off me. It's not exactly how it works.
Yeah, and I think the biggest difference between work, and now that I have I've been experiencing both working with people in person and then doing the online coaching business, it's is a lot easier to give your clients crap when you see them every day. You're like, well, I can tell you're not eating well. But the people that, you're working online, you have to develop this trust system. Like, and there's a lot of accountability that goes in it. And you end up spending a lot more time in communication with these people because guess what? A lot of people are just going to be like, she's not here. She's not going to know. Or I don't need to adhere 100% of the time. And I've had to have tough conversations, which for me are very uncomfortable to have. I'm not a very confrontational person, but I'm just like, unless you start doing what you're supposed to, nothing's going to happen. And you can be as frustrated as you want, but you're robbing yourself out of like progress and results and, just overall the ability to just accomplish things. Like, you're just getting yourself frustrated and me in the meantime. But I was like, you're like you say, you're investing money, you're investing time, you're investing energy. Why wouldn't you apply yourself?
what sucks too is whenever they come at you like that, it's aggressive.
Yeah, it's
going,
very aggressive.
why am I not losing weight? It's been 4 months, nothing happened. I go, well, motherfucker, you haven't done a single thing I wrote down for you. Get your shit together.
Yeah.
Just, listen to me for the reason you paid me to do this. You hired a professional for a reason. Just give me 2 weeks. Watch what happens.
Yeah, for sure.
And sometimes they'll listen, sometimes they won't. They'll listen. They're like, I lost this much weight. I'm like, yeah, no shit.
They're like, this was hard, but we did it.
Yeah.
And one thing, so I actually, when I decided to like really launch my online coaching platform, I was just like, okay, I need to figure out how to do this the right way. So I enrolled in like an online business program, and I have like through 2 business coaches, and then they have 2 assistant coaches on their team, and they all like are within fitness. And one of the assistant coaches, her name is Kayla Diamond. She's great. And she said, she was just like, when you're working with a client and when you're expecting it, like you guys have to meet halfway with the energy that you're putting into your program, right? It can't just be like 90-10. Like, so, and this is something that I started using with my clients. I was like, we need to meet halfway, because if I'm doing all the work and you just kind of like, this is great, whatever, like it's never going to happen. And that's kind of with everything in life, right? So and it's interesting to see how people's view of of everything that they do, on their day-to-day routine changes. Like they're more committed to, spending time with their kids. They're more committed to training. They're more committed to eating well. And seeing that change, I think, is really, really cool. But it takes a while to get there.
Yeah. And situations like that is probably where the psych degree actually comes in handy.
Yeah.
The online, especially, just getting into these people going, well, why are you eating that cookie? Why do you feel that you need to supplement happiness with food, when realistically it's a bad coping mechanism that got you here in the first place?
Yeah.
So you're kind of becoming their therapist too.
Yeah, and it's definitely
psychology degree, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think people tell me all the time, they're like, oh, I talk to you more than I talk to anyone in my family. I was like, yeah, I'm kind of like your therapist now. They're like, a little bit.
Should charge double for that.
So I raise my rates.
Yeah.
I mean, I love it. I love working with people. It's kind of like, it's probably the most rewarding thing that I do in the day, when I like get to talk to my clients, and, I hear like we overcome their challenges together, or they tell me that they've been able to do something that they weren't before. And that's when I just like, even if it's like once a week, twice a week for 2 seconds, I was like, okay, this is why I'm doing it. Because we all get frustrated at work. Like, all businesses have issues. Like, you're like, I don't want to pay this fee. I don't want to like track like in the cold in the subway. Right? I know.
He feels you on this. Dude, I called TD the other day.
Yeah.
I saw a $10 fee on my business checking. I hit the fucking ceiling.
Like, what's this?
I'm like, what is this shit? Like, I don't have a negative balance. Why are you charging me shit? Well, sir, the account that you have, it's like, doesn't matter how much of a balance you hold. There's a $10 monthly service fee. I go, service fee for what?
Like, this is bullshit.
Service fee for what?
You didn't make enough money this month, so we're charging you.
My return on the account is 0. What is the service fee for? This is like, it's just sitting there. What service fees? You distribute my money to somebody else? Ridiculous.
We wanted to use that number for somebody else.
It's funny. You mentioned a collaboration effort. They have to match your energy, and sometimes they get irritated by it because they just want you to do everything. Essentially,
Yeah, they like fix it.
That's literally what I deal with in a lot of my shoots. A lot of my shoots, people hit me up.
Like, I look fat, fix it.
Well, that's a different story. Like in terms of like a company will hit me up and they'll be like, hey, we want to shoot this video campaign with you. I go, wow, phenomenal. I love that. Are you in? Yeah, I'm in. Great. So what do you think? How should we shoot this?
What do you want?
What do you need?
Yeah.
What do you want?
I have people hit me up all the time. And my whole thing now that I tell people, people just kind of rush me. They're like, hey, what's the price? And I go, hold on. I don't know what I'm shooting. I don't know where I got to go. I don't know what the deliverables are. I don't know how long and intensive this is going to be. Are you expecting me to throw up a bunch of motion graphics? Do I have to like do all kinds of things? Do I have to outsource people to do video art on it on top of it? Like, this could be as low as a couple of hundred to as much as thousands. I mean, I tell people, I said, this is between us. This is a collaboration effort between a single person. So like when we work together, it's a collaboration effort between you. What I say to you right when we got to the gym, how are we shooting this?
Yeah.
What exactly are you envisioning? And it went from me thinking that you were walking me through a workout to a sizzle reel.
Yeah.
I went, oh, okay. So cool. I'm going to use this lens instead. Like, that's what I need. I need somebody to give me some direction, because back when I first started, when I would do everything, nobody was happy. Like there was always like, oh, I thought this was going to be a little bit different. It's like, well, you didn't tell me what you wanted. I need to know. I need some type of a map to follow.
Yeah.
And I'll do everything else in my style, the way that you came to me and why you came to me and why you enjoy my work. You know, I'll do everything else my way. But I need to know
what it is that you want.
and that energy has to be there. You have to be excited. There's a collaboration effort between us. Like when I get people that want a $50, $100 video for companies, big companies, I go, well, first off, that's not attainable at all. I go, second off, what are you expecting this to do for your business? Oh, we're expecting sales to increase by 20 or 30%. 20 or 30%. You want to pay $100 ad for that? You want to pay $100 to have this ad shot for your company? I mean, nice, I could put $100 effort into it. It's not going to get you 20 or 30% of what you're looking for sales.
You send them a selfie.
Yeah. I brought the new iPhone 12 Pro Max.
It has the screen.
The battery's almost dead, though.
I just got it, and there's no Corona on the screen. So we're good. I mean, like, that's great. So it's just interesting because that's really in all business. That's kind of what the circle back is. That collaboration effort between two people, whether it's a sale, whether it's a video project, whether it's somebody getting personal trained, bringing energy from both sides is super critical. And I love that they said that to you and taught you that prior, about, especially about getting virtual. Because, I mean, probably when you're in person with somebody, you could snap at them. Be like, hey, come on, let's go. When you're over the internet, it's a little different. So they have to be on their game.
Yeah, it's definitely harder. And I think that's where the structure and having the structure for the business helps a lot. It's just like, you kind of have to predict all the questions that most people have and develop material so that they have that covered. So there's no like, oh, but I thought, you know what I mean? And then you check in with them. I talk to most of my clients, at least once or twice a week. We check in on a weekly basis. But a lot of the times it's just kind of like and I tell them, realistically, it's like, we are going to work together. Like, you need to be realistic, one, with what you want, and two, what can you accomplish? You can't tell me you want to lose 3 pounds a week. One, I would never say that that's realistic to anyone, but you can tell me, like, give me an unrealistic goal to what your life looks like right now. So it's like, what can we accomplish? And then go from there. So if you're like a mom that works 45 hours a week, you have 3 kids, you have a husband, you have a house and a dog and this and that, and you still want to work 6 days a week for an hour and then you want to do cardio and then you want to take yoga class. I was like, that's not going to happen. You're going to do that for a week and
you get burnt out.
You're going to hate everybody. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was just like, what can we do so that you are progressing? No matter how slow or how fast, you're progressing. And that's when they're like, oh, okay. And it takes a little bit of like an adaptation phase because most people just, the same way that you're expecting people to come up to you, it's like, this is what I want. They come up to you with, this is what I want to achieve in this amount of time. And then when they're told, wait a second, let's backtrack this a little bit. There's a little bit of a rattling. They're like, oh my God, what do you mean I can't do this? And some people are like, okay, language. I get it. And some people are like, okay, I get it. This is understandable. And then they're on for it. And some people are like, well, I'm going to find someone that can get me there. I was like, okay, fair enough.
Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah.
And they need to give you all the tools too to work with. Because I had somebody once, an online client, and he got sick. He like basically passed out on one of the, in the middle of a workout. He's like, yeah, I passed out in this workout. And it was nothing strenuous. He's a really heavy guy. And he's like, all the carbs did me in. I'm like, well, it really wasn't a lie. He's like, well, I'm a diabetic. I'm like, well, you didn't fucking tell me that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they need to, but especially if you're not seeing these people in person, they need to give you all the tools to be successful. It's like if I was going to shoot with Nick in the middle of bulking season and say, I just wish I looked more fucking ripped. It's like, well, that's a you problem.
I've actually had that before.
I'm sure.
I've had to explain to people like, yeah, I get you see my videos with Flex Lewis and Araujo and everybody. It's like, chances are you're not going to look like that. Like, it's just, it is what it is. Like, it's just, there's no amount of magic that I can do.
I just thought I would wear a green shirt and,
green screen Araujo on top of him. Yeah, man. It's just
like,
just put Araujo's abs on me and Juan's back.
Yeah, it's just a mishmash of a bodybuilding creature. It's just.
We'll use Tyler's face 'cause he's a handsome motherfucker.
Tyler. He's going to love that. Oh man, yeah, it's I don't know, it's crazy, and to the point of like taking supplements. I know we're going back, but the point of taking supplements, my mom My mom has been battling with trying to get her weight under control for years. She's not heavy by any means. She's just not in like crazy shape like she was a couple of years ago. She used to be a kickboxer, so she'd go to kickboxing class like 4 times a week. And so now, I literally told her, I said, I spent thousands that I didn't have to build a gym in the garage. I said, you didn't want to go to Lifetime anymore because it's too expensive and you didn't like the people there.
Use my gym.
I said,
The membership's cheap.
I said that's cool. I said we live in a development. I said in our development there's a gym in the development. I said you've said for years you don't want to go to that gym. I said because you don't like the neighbors and they're intrusive. Well, guess what? There's a gym downstairs and she hasn't used it once. And she's trying to get back on a plan. And this isn't to throw her under the bus, but this is like she's trying to get back on a plan. And she buys, the fuck did she buy? She bought a fat burner and she bought you're gonna love this this growth hormone pill that she bought on Amazon.
What?
She goes, yeah, the program told me to buy it because it helps with losing weight. I said, oh, please don't take that shit. I said, I don't know what the fuck it is. I said, but please don't take that shit.
She's got to go speak to the manager.
It's like, excuse me, sir. How could I lose my weight?
I gotta find this shit.
I mean, and it all started really. I knew that I needed to really educate myself when I would go to, when I first started going to the gym, and I was like 16 years old, and I would go to like GNC and realize that the person that was selling me things was extremely out of shape and knew nothing about nutrition and fitness. Like, you look like you've never set a foot on a gym. Like, you look like you don't go for walks outside.
Yeah.
Like, why are you trying me to sell the latest GNC vitamin pack? Like, why do I need this? And of course, when you're 16, 17 years old, they're like, sure, I'll buy it. And then, you know what I mean? I was like, maybe I should. And you know, you start to like process it through after you spend like $500 over the course of 6 months. And that's when I started reading it. I was just like, okay, I could just do this all on my own and figure it out. And I mean, I have a coach and I've had coaches in the past that told me, you know, what to eat. And as an athlete, like you need a subjective, I guess, set of eyes. But still, it's just like, man, the money we spend on things that we don't need because someone told you that it was a great idea.
Yeah, the biggest thing is if somebody's pitching you something, just don't buy the store brand.
Exactly.
That's when they're making. See how friendly they are when you stop. You're like, okay, but I don't trust the store brand. Oh,
okay.
Which one don't you make commission on?
So I go to click the fat burner, like because the growth isn't on here anymore. I go to click the fat burner on our Amazon orders.
Sorry, I couldn't find that page.
I keep getting that. Yo,
she might have gotten real growth.
She better not be. She better not be taking any of that shit, bro.
Your mom's going to be outlifting you soon.
Bro, yeah, no kidding.
She's going to be downstairs literally squatting the rack, the 700-pound rack. This is how we do it, right, Nick? Ah!
Kenji's going to get a hold of him and turn into a mastiff.
Oh, my God,
80
dude.
pounds.
Dude, it's ridiculous. But that's my thing. It's like, yeah, supplements are great.
I've never seen that page on Amazon.
I've never seen that page either. It's
Ever.
super scary.
They did that for, I remember, what was I was buying these like prebiotic gummies. Like they were freaking amazing. And for some reason, someone said like, oh, they gave me some whatever issue and then they had to like recall the entire, I think a Kardashian said something or whatever. They had to recall the entire line. And I was just like, oh man, I just found something that works. But then I started getting that page. I was like, oh, this does exist.
Yeah. It was the gummies mixed with SARMs.
They might have just been gummy bears. You're like, these taste great. It's no shit.
Like, yeah.
Oh, here we go. Shark's coming back.
He's like, what? Hey guys.
No, he's like, screw everybody. Whatever. You don't want to play.
He's going for the sneak attack right now. He's playing it safe.
He's just chilling. Yeah, it's just I'm sure you guys deal with it obviously much more than I ever do. But it's like you got a full gym in the basement, a full gym. You could literally just go down there, do a couple sets of squats, and that's better than you just doing what you have been doing, and you go and buy fat burners. It's like, for what?
It's hard. I mean, it's hard. I think that we are so used to just, it's part of your day, right? Like I strained muscle in my lower back the other day. I haven't lifted in like 2 days, and it's just weird for me. For us, it's part of our routine, it's part of our day, whether we started with that, athletics and got into the gym and stuff. For most people, it's just like you have, like going to the gym is like, oh, but I have to go get my, it's hard. So when it's not something that is ingrained within your schedule or something that you're so conditioned to do every single day or, most days of the week, it's tricky. It's behavior pattern, right? You have to learn how to do that again. And I have clients like that too. They're like, well, I have barbells, squat rack, they have it all in their basement, and they're like, I just wasn't really feeling motivated. I was like, well, if you're gonna wait until you feel motivated, you're never gonna make it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I tell people, like, I was just like, motivation is kind of like it's a muscle. You have to work it. It's just repetition. And some days that muscle is going to be tired, and you're just going to have to do it because at this point in time, it's just part of your routine. You know what I mean? Like, and if you don't do it, it feels weird.
And it's environmental motivation too.
Yeah.
Because if you just sit around at home watching Netflix all day and you have all this gym equipment there, you're not going to flip that switch. Like, welcome to Bev's. You've said this a million times in the podcast. It's a different vibe. It's a different feeling.
Yeah.
You go in there and you really want to slam some weights around and get something done.
Yeah.
But, moving from your couch into the other room 4 feet away to now let's flip the whole different gear, it doesn't happen.
Well, one thing that I was doing during quarantine that I think that really made a difference for me, and days, I mean, we have access to a rooftop in our building, and I was doing a ton of my workouts up there, but I was getting dressed as if I was going to the gym. Like, I didn't care if I was already wearing like active wear. Like, I changed into a different pair of pants and put, fresh socks on, put my sneakers on, new shirt, and tie my hair. Sometimes I take a little pre-workout just to. It's just like you said, the ritual of getting ready to the gym. And even if you're going to another room, or if you're going upstairs, or if you're just going to run to the park, it's kind of that gets you in the mood and gets your mind right and your mindset right to do that. And that's what I told a lot of my clients. I was like, don't go freaking lift on your sweatpants. Of course you're gonna feel sluggish.
Mm-hmm.
You've been rolling around like in the covers and like eating Cheetos or something.
It's
like
covered in pizza grease.
Exactly. Like, you're feeling like crap wearing that. Like, it's kind of like when people say like the outfit makes half the workout. Like, you feel good, you feel great, you're gonna have a great workout. Same thing. It's just that you have to get your mindset right.
Intra-workout Cheetos.
Lucky Libra, how do you feel about that? He's like,
Andre Ferguson, how do you feel?
No, that doesn't work.
That doesn't work. You got to have the 7-Eleven bagel.
I'm sure he's tried.
Yeah, the 7-Eleven bagel's old Andre.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. The shit I've seen that guy eat is just ridiculous. We were with Muscle Sport for a while together.
Oh, okay.
So we would do like events and shows, and I was just like, what are you doing? And he was like, I have a show in 3 weeks. I'm like, what the hell? And it worked. I mean, he always wins, so he's doing something right.
I brought him Dunkaroos during the podcast, and now he hit up Chris Villa the next day. He said, yo, Chris, he's like, we need to get this sponsorship. We need to get this endorsement. Call up Dunkaroos. It's like,
I would still love to see him on the package, like instead of the kangaroo just hopping on there.
It's just him, him on the kangaroo's back.
Oh my God.
No, he's gonna be in the pouch, in the kangaroo
like
pouch.
Out of it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just in right in the front.
Yeah.
It's him and Champ, his dog. I actually want to. Probably a lot of people don't know you're a pro. Which is fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
talk to me about like the fitness journey. You love fitness, right?
I
In
do.
college or everything like
I
that.
do.
What got you started into it?
So I've always been an athlete. I played European handball, which is not really big here in the States. It's like a hybrid of soccer and basketball. And I played that for 10 years.
Hold on, what is that?
Yeah, European handball, man. I used to play it in gym class.
Yeah,
Soccer, basketball. Now I'm thrown off.
So you dribble, the ball's about this big,
Okay.
and you have to score a goal. There's a defense line, goalie. The goal is a little bit smaller than a soccer goal. And it's a high contact sport. It's like intense. And I played that from the time that I was 7 until I was 17. I found the team here in New York for a couple of years. It was like a mix, like a co-ed European team. I was playing with like 40-year-old Polish men. I was all jacked up. I was so banged up by the end. But I had a ton of knee injuries. Like a ton of them chronic, a ton of them just from like practice and sports and just not taking care of it properly, And that's how I got into weightlifting. Yeah. So I had a physical therapist back in Brazil that my entire family, my grandmother used to go to see him.
Wow.
But yeah, the guy's been around for a while. And he was just like, you need to start lifting weights.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point I was 15 years old. And in Brazil, you're not allowed to get in the gym floor until you're, I think, 17 or 18, unless your parent is there. My dad has never been a big gym buff, so I did not have consent.
Yeah.
So I started lifting here, and after a while, I just missed the competitive drive. Like I'm lifting, I feel strong. Like my body's changing. I was super, super skinny, which I had that complex. I was like, I need to get bigger. My legs need to get bigger. I'm Brazilian. This is awful. I know. And then I was on bodybuilding.com and I saw like a Amanda Latona video, and she was just like, I was a singer and I got into competition. I was just like, I love this woman. I need to do what she's doing. And ever since then, I had like the competition bug. I was like, one day I want to try it. And at that point, I was 18, 19 years old, and knew for a fact that if I tried to do anything while I was in college, it was just not going to work. Like, I can't diet and study. Like, a lot of girls do it and I commend them for it, but I cannot do it. I can't focus. So my last semester in college, I knew a girl who was doing a bikini competition, and she put me in touch with her coach. And that's how I got started. I was like, I might hate it. I might love it. I hate being like, I've never been a stage person. But the process of getting there, like the nutrition and seeing my body change and understanding like what you can really get through when you feel like crap because you're exhausted, because your carbs are low, you're carb cycling, and you have, conditioning and all that stuff and pushing through the workouts. That's really a transformative experience, I think. So I fell in love with that for sure. And then on show day, my best friend and I did our first shows together.
Which show?
New Jersey State Championships.
Okay.
And that's where I won my first overall.
Dope.
So I was just like,
show.
Yeah, I was like, I like this. I could do this more. I was like, I won. This is awesome. And I totally didn't expect it. And it was just, it's crazy looking back at it. I was just like, you get placed in the center and you get first call outs, and the girls that were like on the lineup with me were not happy at all. And I was just like trying to high five everyone back. I was like, this is so much fun. And they're like, oh my God, who is this girl?
Get this fucking girl out of here.
Get this fucking girl out of here. And ever since then, I was just like, this is awesome. And I mean, I was shaking like a leaf, like a green leaf up there, and while I was posing, because I was so nervous, and posing doesn't come naturally to me. Like I do a little bit of posing with clients now, but I tell clients all the time, I was like, you kind of find your stage persona, right? And I don't know if this is the same thing for guys too, but you just find it. And once you become comfortable, you're always going to be nervous. I'm always nervous before I get on stage, but you just find it and you just like have fun. And now I look really forward to it, but I started, that was my first show in 2015. I did 2 shows that year. 2016, I did the Arnold Amateur, which was a fiasco. It was awful. It was like, I looked like a stick figure.
Really?
Yeah, my tanning was off because it was just like the lighting was off, and then they had us waiting for like 8 hours backstage. I ran out of food. I was just a ghost on stage.
The Arnold stage is very interesting with the lighting, then the
it's
different beams of light that they shine on it.
It's a very white light when they do the prejudging, especially for the amateur. They just do it out like the auditorium when they have like the bikini prejudging, and then unless you place top 10, then they bring you to like the stage that's on the expo.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't make it top 10. I got like 15th or something. It crushed me. I'm like the worst sore loser ever. Like, you do not want to have a conversation with me.
She wasn't high-fiving everybody
I was not I was just like, someone kicked me off my high horse. I was just like, oh my God, I was in tears sobbing. I was ugly crying for sure. My coach was there. The guy was there. My ex-boyfriend was there, and it was just a disaster. I mean, I enjoyed the expo the next couple of days. Like you're there, you book the trip for the whole time. Then after that, I did Atlantic States, which then at that point I was just like revamped, prepared.
It's a new me.
It's a new me. So I won that, and then I won Team NPC Universe. Well, it used to be Team U, now NPC Universe, and that's where I got my pro card.
It's not called Team U anymore?
No, it's
Am I
NPC
that out of touch with that shit?
Yes.
I think this is the universe.
Yeah, it's
Really?
like NPC Yeah, JM will backhand slap you if you start calling it Team U again.
Oh, God.
He's like, it's not what it's called. He's corrected a ton of people. But yeah, they changed the name, I think, the year after I did it. And I got my pro card there. And then I took 6 months off and started competing in the FBB Pro.
What was your first show as a pro?
Pittsburgh Pro.
How'd that go?
I placed 3rd. Pittsburgh Pro.
Not bad opener.
Yeah, no.
I was feeling myself. I was the first one on stage because of my last name, right? So in the pros, they just call you they line everyone up by the last name alphabetically. And I was just like, oh my God, it's my first pro show. I'm the first one on stage. What if I fall?
Oh.
Like that's literally all I could think about before I got on stage. I was like, what if I fall? Like I'm clumsy. I'm clumsy as hell. if I came here 20 times, I'd probably walk into that door 20 times. Like I just shoulder door frames. Like it's a disaster. My household is always like, shit, my foot. Like no one asks me if I'm doing okay anymore. They're like, oh, again.
Oh, again. She's injured again.
You're good. All right.
Yeah. So yeah, I did Pittsburgh Pro, New York Pro, and then after that I did Baltimore. That year was tricky because I got sick right after. A couple weeks after New York Pro, I got a bacterial infection because I cut my hand on an ATV. Like I was on a quad and then a branch hit my hand and I got cellulitis, which was no joke. Like in
really
24 hours, my hand was super swollen down to my wrist, and the doctor was like, "We're glad you came now because you could have died."
Ooh.
Wow.
So they gave me those horse antibiotics, and it just really messed me up. I did another show after that in July.
Of what year is this again?
2016.
Okay.
And it was just it wasn't the same thing.
Okay.
And then the season after that, I just decided that 6 months later, it'd be a great idea to just jump back on stage, look like crap. Like
well, you get that itch. You get that itch. You're like, I want to get back on.
Because you also think you don't want to stop. You know what I mean? Like it's hard. Like the most time off I've ever taken at that point in time had been maybe 5.5 months from the time that I turned pro to my first pro show. So I was like, I don't want to stop. Like I'm just gonna jump right,
truck through.
Exactly. And if you look from outside view, it's just well, you look skinny as hell. You lost a ton of muscle. What the hell are you thinking? So my season in 2017 was awful. I mean, I was placing top 10, but it was awful. I didn't look great. I didn't look how I wanted to look.
It wasn't the package you wanted to bring.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I did 6 shows that year. I did 6 shows that year. Traveled.
I did 2 total shows and I was exhausted.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah. Altogether, I think I've done 14 shows.
Wow.
Not between pro and amateur.
Yeah.
I mean, you have girls that are stacking 30 just on a pro level, which is, my body just can't hold all that. You know what I mean? When I did those 6 shows, I really wanted to see if I could hold off for my physique could hold off. And at that point in time, I just didn't have enough muscle for it. So I took a 1.5 years off and I was going to get back on stage this year. And I was 2.5 weeks out when my show got canceled and the gyms closed.
Yeah.
Oh.
Somebody in China decided to eat a fucking bat and just screw it up for everybody.
And that was that. I mean, I was crushed. I was
when we shot, you looked phenomenal, and that wasn't even prep. That was.
Yeah, I felt things, but I felt great. I mean, I think that my body now, because of the time off, because of the change in training, the change in stimulus and going back into the gym, after, putting on a ton of muscle, having to diet it down, shit show of quarantine, and then I reversed. That's how I kept sane. I stayed sane because I was reversing. I was like, if there's anything that's going to come out of this quarantine is I'm going to have my own business and my metabolism is just going to be fire. I'm going to eat a shit ton of calories and still look great. And that was my goal. And that's kind of what kept me kept me focused. So when I started lifting again, my body responded really, really well, but I was crushed. And at that point, I still work with Marco. Marco Rivera is my coach.
Hey-o.
There he is.
And
Bronx bad boy. That's my man.
Marco and I have been, I've known Marco for years now, but at the end, once I started my off season, I had coach PTSD. I had jumped around from a couple of coaches and I wasn't happy. I was like, I don't trust people anymore. I don't know how, where to place my trust. So Marco and I would train together here and there. And then once I was like, you know what? I like your, we have the same training style. We have the same, diet and nutrition style and background and things like that. I was just like, you know what? Let's do it. And shit, my body was transformed in 6 to 8 months.
It's awesome.
And we're still working together now. And he trusts me a lot with my own nutrition. He's just unless we're getting ready for a show, I trust you to, stay on track, stay on top of it.
Keep it tight.
Exactly. And I see him once a week. I go up to the Bronx and we train for 1.5 hours to 2 hours. And he, checks my physique and he's like, you're good. And that's kind of the type of coaching relationship that I enjoy having, because it's just like I have enough experience to understand when something's wrong, but I need you to guide me. I need you to fill in the blanks with the experience that I don't have.
Yeah.
So that the same way with clients, like kind of going full circle, it's like we can collaborate and put this package together and put this physique together. But yeah, that's kind of how I got into the industry, and it's been such a crazy ride because I feel like I had no idea, like I didn't know my ass from my elbow when I first started, and it's just so crazy the things that you get experience to, and growing as an athlete and growing as a fitness professional. I mean, I haven't achieved or accomplished half the things that I want to in the bodybuilding stage. Like I haven't won my first show yet. I haven't, qualified for the Olympia. I haven't competed in the Arnold. Those are all things I do want to accomplish.
Which will come.
And it's just, I think for me has been mainly learning to be patient, because life happens, like
Regardless.
The world shuts down.
The world shuts down. Life happens. You have bills to pay, and not everyone has the financial backing to compete that much. You know what I mean? So a lot of the times it's just like, okay, these are the numbers. What can I make happen with this? You know what I mean? It's just realistic, and it's a completely different monster to compete and live in the city. You're not driving to the gym. You're not driving to the supermarket.
Oh, I saw her on her stories walking everywhere. Just walking. You were all bundled up in the winter. She was like, yeah, gotta go here, gotta
That's
go
where the
here.
grit comes in.
Yeah, it's intense, and it's just like you're burning at least an additional 1,200 calories a day just by being on your feet, and because of that, the recovery is different. You know what I mean? Like you have to nap. You have to put your feet up whenever you can, and it's funny when you come across or friends of mine, they're like, oh, I'm so tired, I need to drive to the gym. And I was like, shut the fuck up.
You have no idea.
Like I just took a 45-minute train ride so I could get to the gym, so I could start my training session. You know what I mean?
I basically walked half of Everest just to get to the gym.
I did the cardio you skip to get to the gym.
I mean, it's the journey is like we all go through it, and it sucks. They're all ups and downs, and some people manage them better than others. But I think it's definitely has helped me on like the mental aspect to just like, if I really want to do this, like I need to buckle up and just suck it up, right? Because no one is forcing me. No one is forcing me at all to do it. And it was the first time I remember when I invested on my first spin bike.
Okay.
I was just like, oh, I'm just going to do cardio at home now. It's going to be amazing. It wasn't the same.
No.
It's the same idea. It's just like you roll out of bed, you're still in your pajamas, and you're under just the cardio machine. I was like, it feels like shit. I'm not even pushing that hard. And I was just like, you know what? I just need to wake up 20 minutes early and walk to the gym. And that's what I did. And it's just.
You still have the spin bike?
No, I sold that. I sold that when I moved. Now I live in a building that has a gym in the basement. It's a teeny tiny gym, and it has like 3 treadmills, a couple bikes, a rowing machine. It has more cardio equipment than actual equipment. But it's great for fasted cardio. It's great for like if I just want to get some steps in, and that's what I've been doing. I was like, now I don't need to go to the gym unless I'm like Stairmaster, but that's pretty much it. But yeah, I can't wait to get back on stage.
So next year.
Next year for sure. I mean, if the world doesn't shut down again.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that.
But next year for sure. I mean, and people ask me all the time, like, you've been gone for so long, like, why didn't you do it this year? I was like, because I'm not going to step on stage like giving 80%.
Yeah, 120.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. I want to look my best. Like the last time I stepped on stage, I already felt crappy because I knew I wasn't 100%. So why would I repeat that? And that feeling really crushed me. And I think that it affected me in a lot of ways that people are just like, oh, it's just a show. I'm like, you have no idea.
Yeah, it's a lot more than that. Then there's a lot more that goes into it too.
Yeah.
I mean, John knows. I mean, how many shows did you
do? 4.
4. Okay.
I mean, bodybuilding is a whole different beast. You guys are just going through depletion. Like it's just.
Yeah, it's.
I was men's
hard.
bikini. I was men's bikini.
I mean, I live with a former bodybuilder, and he tells me all the time. He tries to give me crap sometimes. He's just like, well, you didn't have to do cardio until you almost collapsed, and your skin was paper thin, and you looked like you had no muscles because you were so depleted. And I was just like, I just want to complain about my egg whites.
Just shut up and listen to me.
No, but he's definitely given me a ton of perspective. Like he's just like, it's all mental. He's like, no carbs, that's mental. He trained me a ton for the first my first pro season, and he would train me for like heavy legs and stuff like that. Like no carbs. He's like, we're gonna train at 8 a.m. because that's when you have the most amount of energy, and that's it. And he was just like,
Pretty accurate.
just push.
Yeah.
You just push. It's just like you remember why you're doing and you push.
Mhm.
And that's kind of like where I think why I like the fitness industry so much, especially within bodybuilding. And the same way that I learn a lot from working with really good great trainers at David Barton Gym, like every single person that you train with, that you work out with, that you work within like coaching, you should be a sponge. You know what I mean? Like you retain little bits
Absorb a
of
little
pieces
bit
here
from
and there,
everybody.
and exactly, and you evolve as a professional because of those people. And I think that that's probably the most rewarding part of the whole thing. People ask me questions. They're like, "Oh my God, you're so open to answering everything." I was like, "Yeah, why wouldn't I? Like, I've had shitty experiences. Why wouldn't I like share the wisdom?" And a lot of people don't like doing that. They're like, "Well, in order for me to tell you that, you need to pay me." I'm like, "Okay, then I don't want to talk to you."
Yeah, I have no
All right,
interest.
piss off.
I mean, I respect that. It is what it is, but
People are they can be snobby about it too.
a little bit, yeah,
It's like, I'm just asking if flounder or cod worked better for you. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But what worked better?
You got to pay me to find out, Nick.
Orange Ruffy.
Oh my God, I never had to eat that though.
I've never eaten that. I don't know. I
Me
saw
either.
back when I first started, everybody saw Jay Cutler eating Orange Ruffy. They're like, "Yo, we gotta get some of that. We gotta get some of that Orange Ruffy." And then there was like one website online that really had it, and it was like,
Now that you find it at Costco everywhere.
"Can you?
Yeah.
It's frozen, but yeah.
Is it good? I don't even. You said you haven't had it.
I've never
Never tried it.
I don't know.
Well, whitefish tastes the same though.
Does it though?
There's not a lot of flavor in
Until
whitefish.
you open that container of cod in your fridge and it's just like your entire building smells like it.
What does
Yeah,
orange?
but it still tastes the same.
It does taste the same.
Orange Ruffy has a mild, delicate flavor and moist. Ooh.
Ew, I hate
Large.
that word.
I'm just
No.
reading it. Large flaked meat that holds together well after cooking. Raw Orange Ruffy flesh is pearly white and it cooks up to an opaque white. The skin side of the fillet often sports a faint orange-brown band color. All right.
What is that thing?
What does it taste like?
AS. Tastes like an orange.
Tastes like an orange. Can you imagine? It tastes like an orange. It just tastes like an orange.
That sounds great.
Are you ever gonna compete again?
Nah, I'm done. Fuck that shit.
Done.
It's not worth it for me. No.
Everyone has their kind of like point where they're like, "Oh, I've had it.
I'm done.
I've had
Yeah.
it."
I'm
And
never doing it again.
I think for me it's just I still have some to prove for myself.
Mhm.
You know,
Oh, yeah,
like
for you, it's a little different.
like
Absolutely.
and it's not so much. I mean, of course, I definitely want to qualify for like the big shows, and that's. I mean, if you turn pro, that at least for most people I know, that's the dream. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
step on the Olympia stage. That's what. At this point, I don't even need to win it. I just want to step on it.
You want that jacket. I know you want that jacket.
I just want.
There
I
you
just
go.
want to step on it. And I was like, oh, I've been part of history.
Yeah, no.
But it's just kind of like in yourself, like I still got some left. You know what I mean? Like it might be 1 year, it might be 2 years. It may, I think that having all this time off has allowed me to kind of like feel that way.
Mhm.
Because by the time I was done with my last season, I was just like, maybe I'm never doing this again. You burn out. Like I had like severe burnout.
Mhm.
And I think maybe quarantine forced me to take time off that I didn't want to take, but I needed it.
People underestimate the power of an off season and really resting
And
the
a
body.
good off
Yeah,
season,
yeah,
not
they need
like
it.
5 months. Not like let me put on 5 pounds and 2% body fat more.
No.
You know what I mean? And then it took me 1.5 years to see significant change. I had to get to an uncomfortable weight for me to see that change. I went up to 145 pounds. Right now I walk around like 132. My stage weight is 120. Usually, I mean, not that it really matters, but
Yeah.
I was just like, this is uncomfortable. Like, I was like, it was hard to get on the Stairmaster. Like, my knees were like, no. And people are like, what are you talking about? Like, you're still pretty light compared to, and of course, they compare to like bodybuilders. They're like, that guy is
Yeah.
250. You don't see him complaining. I was like, that guy is out of breath when he goes up the steps.
He's complaining.
He's
too.
complaining.
He's complaining
just,
too. You just
yeah,
don't hear it right now.
Exactly.
Is that?
So-
I mean, it's gonna sound so stupid. Is that heavy for girls? Like to get up to that 145?
It really depends. It really depends. For me, it is. So before I started lifting altogether, I was 110 pounds. This was me, like 16-year-old Carolina, 15-year-old Carolina, 110 pounds. When I started lifting, I went up to like 120, 125. My body sits at 130, 133. So for me to push that additional 10, 11, like 10, 12 pounds, it's hard, especially because you want to gain good weight. right? It's not like I don't spend my off season like eating burgers and ice cream. Like I eat real food. So getting to the point where you're eating enough real food and training heavy enough where, to push up to that weight, especially because I have the opposite issue that a lot of people yell at me for. Like I lose weight very easily. Like if I skip a couple of meals for 2 days straight, I'll lose a couple of pounds.
Yeah.
So, pushing past that point where your body's just not like, this is not where we want to be. If it definitely fights you. And I got to a point where I was like, okay, there's a lot of inflammation. Like my weight is like, spiking up and down. And I told Mark, I was like, okay, it's time for us to start cutting down. And he gets it. He was like, if you feel like your body's fighting you, then you know what I mean? Like know your limitations. Yeah. But for some women, it's not like that. Like, I mean, I have friends that they've competed in figure and their stage weight is my heaviest. You know what I mean? And they're shorter than me. So it really depends on what your structure is, what your body composition, what your body's accustomed to or prepared to handle. I mean, I'm sure if I continue to lift and as I get older, we'll probably be able to get to 140 and not be as miserable. But for me at that point in time, I was just like, this is awful. I feel like crap. Yeah. And then nothing fits. You're like, ugh, I am claustrophobic in my own clothes.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
I'm like 210 right now. I got to get back down. I'd like to get back down to 185. Like that's where I looked my best when I was younger, but I also didn't have as much muscle on me. So I think like 190, 185 would probably be my best for right now.
Yeah.
Everybody has a comfort weight they just sit at because your body wants to stay in homeostasis.
Exactly.
So if you're fucking up a little bit or being on point, for a guy, we'll stay within a 10-pound range or so.
Well, if I stop eating candy every fucking night and stop drinking whiskey, I'll drop like crazy. I drop quick. My shit, everybody laughs at me. Like,
you sound so happy.
Whiskey
I'm so happy, but I'm not. Yeah, oh my God. My mom came home with like a bag of candy for me last night.
Just like, yes.
Because I finished off the one from last week. She's just like, yeah, she's like, I got you another one. I was like, God damn it. Give me the Whoppers. Give me those. And oh shit, Milk Duds are in there? I haven't had a Milk Dud since 94.
I'm going to eat all of them.
Give me one. So it's just, I just gotta stop eating candy. Candy's my weakness. It's my Achilles heel. Candy, and I like rice a lot.
Could be worse than rice though.
Yeah, but I could eat every meal with rice. That's my issue. It's like I gotta learn. Like, okay, maybe like 2 meals I'm good with.
I've been eating rice unless I'm eating like potatoes. I don't even eat like there's certain things that I just cut out of my diet completely because I was just like, let me figure out what my body does not like. I can eat rice at every single meal.
Yeah.
I don't eat oatmeal anymore. You'll be the first bikini competitor that tells you I do not eat oatmeal.
Why? What's wrong? You don't like oatmeal?
No, I love it. I cut it out during quarantine because I was just like, let me try it. Like, I'll do like a little experiment. I was like, let me cut out like gluten. Like if I eat bread, it's like flourless sprouted.
She's
bread.
out here. She's out here during quarantine testing like gluten-free shit. I'm in quarantine drinking at 9 a.m.
Oh hell yeah! I was just like, I gotta look great at the end of this. I was like, I am gonna make sure I walk out of my house. I'm like, damn, I look amazing, because I'm like, if I'm like 20 pounds heavier, I know for myself I can't handle that shit. I'm gonna feel like crap. So I was just like, I started eating like all of those like sweet potato pasta and cauliflower pasta. It's still plenty of carbs. It still actually gives you a pretty good source of plant-based protein, which I never thought I would tell myself that I was like okay with.
You ever have the chickpea pasta?
Yeah,
there's a lot of protein in that too. It tastes fucking delicious.
It's delicious.
It's really good.
It's delicious. We ended up in my house eating a lot less red meat because our local supermarket just didn't have, a good selection at that point in time.
Still meat shortages, I think. Still.
And we're just like, you know what? Let's not buy it as much and see what happens. And it was like 1 week went by, another week went by, just eating like fish, chicken, egg whites, yogurt, cottage cheese, whatever. And we're like, it's been 3 weeks and we felt amazing. We felt light. We were ready to go for a jog. Like your digestion is crazy. And I was like, you know what? I love all these other things that I cut out, but why am I eating them if they're making me feel like crap? And I mean, you're talking to a Brazilian that used to eat red meat at least once a day, not like once a week, not like a couple of times. Every single day there was either ground beef or steak on my meal plans. And now I'll eat it like once every other week if I feel like I need a little bit, like iron and creatine and all the good stuff. But I've realized I was just like, I started this holistic nutrition program a year ago, and the more I read it, I was like, I need to experiment in this. But I was getting ready for a show. I was like, I have these things that I need to eat. And then all of a sudden I have all this free time and all this like kind of like the world is your oyster.
Yeah.
Literally.
And my body has never looked better. And I've, this is probably the first time that I'm not getting ready for a competition and I'm at this light.
Mhm.
I haven't seen like the 130, the 131, unless I'm like doing fasted cardio and carb cycle. Like for
Are you still doing a lot of cardio?
I do zero cardio. Zero.
Ooh, love that.
Yeah.
I mean, if I get on the treadmill, it's maybe like on the day that I know that I have a lot of like online coaching work to do, and I know I'm not going to be moving as much, then I'll go downstairs, walk for like 20 minutes, and then I take the dog out a couple more times. But that's it. I am doing zero cardio.
How good does that feel? Oh,
Amazing.
Living in the city is still basically cardio, though.
Yeah.
Like you still walk plenty, just so somebody else listening.
My overall activity level is high, but it's slower than what it used to be.
Yes.
Because I do have less clients now. And I have a lot more, like, some days I'm like, oh my God, I've been sitting at this fucking desk for hours and hours and hours.
Nick, you know what that feels like?
oh, God.
I'm like, oh, my back and my neck. And it just, it's crazy. And I was like, this is why people that work 9 to 5s at corporate jobs, they look like, they're like hunched over and their hips are tight, their hamstrings are tight, their lower back is like goes to the shitter. And so that's the only time that I really get on like any type of cardio equipment.
Mm-hmm.
But aside from that, I like to save the cardio from when I'm getting ready for shows. Like, why do it year round? Because then you're like, the second you're adding or increasing, then your body is no longer responding.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like, and I think the first person that I spoke about something like this was Ferguson, Andre. And he's talking about like supplementation and, the things that he removes, or this was a while back, when he's not competing, and he was just like, why am I doing the same thing over and over? My body's just not going to respond the same, right? It's kind of just like, you want to have new stimulation in order for adaptation to happen. So that's pretty much it. Off seasons, I always do less cardio, but now I've been doing none.
Yeah, I'm doing a prep right now. I'm doing a prep for my cousin's bachelor party in May. So I got plenty of time. So I was actually going to start doing cardio now, but I said, what's the point?
That's so many months from
That's
now.
what I'm saying. Like, I'm gonna get. So like, say I do start doing it like twice a week right now. It's like, what am I gonna? By the time May rolls around, what am I gonna get to then?
You'll be doing twice a day, 7 days a week, and it's won't.
Yeah. I mean, I am a strong believer on like just overall activity. So even clients that I tell them, I was just like, let's see what your body responds to when you're doing just resistance training and, appropriate nutrition alone. Like, I was like, there's really not much, unless you're extremely overweight, like there's not much. But I definitely tell all of them, like, you need to go for a walk every single day for your digestion, for your circulation, for your mental health. Like, just walk
get
30
out
minutes twice a day. That's all you need. And a lot of them lose weight just by doing that because their activity level is up. Their NEAT is up.
Mm-hmm.
So that's great. That's a great tool there. He's like, Dad. Excuse me.
The lady's judging me. I didn't walk.
I need to go for a walk.
That's my buddy. So, tell me the virtual coaching. So, is it open to everybody? Like, how are you? How many clients are you trying to? Is there like a cap off limit? How are you doing it? Is it nutrition too? And end it?
So I don't have a cap for it. I mean, I think right now I have 22 people on my roster.
Awesome.
And I mean, I'm still comfortable taking on more. I mean, I think they will get to a point where, hey, do you want to?
He wants to apply.
You want to apply?
Yes, you want to apply.
It definitely gets to a point where, if you start to feel oversaturated, I think at that point in time, I'll maybe hire someone to work with me.
Okay.
Does it taste good? Does my shirt taste good?
Look at his little face.
But yeah, I mean, I work mainly with women.
Okay.
Although I do have a couple male clients, like my in-person clients, and the majority of them are guys now.
Mm-hmm.
Both men and women, and 90% of the time, I think people are just looking to lose weight and get active and get healthy. I do all of the programming. I do coach them for nutrition as well. However, and this is where people get it a lot of the times they get it confused. I don't like deliver meal plans. Like, I don't believe in that shit. I mean, I believe it if you're an athlete, there are definitely, or if you're just someone who needs to learn how to eat properly, there's this understanding. There are certain things that you should be eating. There are certain things there you should be making healthy choices and choices of foods that are like nourishing your body and they're wholesome and nutritionally rich, right? But is a lot more, understanding your food intake in terms of like macronutrients, calories, energy balance, and stuff like that. Because technically, legally, I'm not a registered dietitian. So I would be lying if I was like, yes, I'm going to write you a diet. Like anyone that's doing that and selling those, it's just as a business owner, I can't do that. And that's a
so
big.
You're staying ethical.
Ethically, like, and especially if people, like we were talking about before, like they're not giving you, a lot of the times they're not giving you the whole picture. What if you have an underlying health condition that you need special attention and special nutritional,
needs.
Needs. And this is one of the things that I would love to do on my coaching platform is eventually get to a point where I can hire or have a registered dietitian on staff to deal with those clients. But at this point in time, I've been just doing working with people that are super, super busy. They need to learn how to better manage their schedule, better understand how to move their body, how to, stay active, have that accountability, and just they want to look good. They want to feel good in their own bodies. And I think that 90% of the client base that I have now, they're moms with that work full time, and they're just like, where did it all go? You know what I mean? And it's hard getting back.
It goes quicker than it comes.
And it's hard getting back to that. So I think that that's been my biggest biggest like niche, I think, of clients. And I do everything online. I use an app to deliver all my programming. They have like Google Drives and all the bells and whistles to make sure that they're accountable. And I think that that's been the biggest thing, is just like making sure that you almost feel like you have the person there without them actually physically being there. You know what I mean? I think that was the one thing that I missed the most when I worked with online coaches in the past, where they just weren't accessible. And I think that when you have coaching where they either have too many clients or their deliverables are not that great, you're just sending me a Excel sheet with numbers and exercises
and to 90 other people.
Exactly. And I mean, I've had coaches that send me cookie cutter diets. I've had coaches that barely looked at my progress pictures. I'm talking to my clients for like a while where it's just like, how are you sleeping? How's your digestion? What's your water intake look like? What's your stress level? And then sometimes they're like, oh my God, you need all this information. I was like, yeah, I do. Because guess what? Your life is not dictated just by the time you spend in the gym and the time that you spend in the kitchen making your meals. Like, it's even dictated more so by everything else, and then we apply the fitness and the nutrition. So it's been a really, really cool learning experience in terms of like understanding how people tick and understanding how to help them like get back on track. It's cool. I love it. I absolutely love it. I think and it allows me to help more people too. There's only so many hours in the day. As a trainer, you can only, if you're training a client per hour, and you're working 7 to 7, if you don't 12 clients a day, if you have a crazy schedule, but that's it. 12 clients.
12 clients a day is a lot of people.
It's a lot of people. No one really does that.
No, but I'm saying like to be on your feet that long training clients, 100% energy. For 12 hours straight, there's nobody doing that.
Exactly.
So that's an even better way to reach more people.
Yeah, and I definitely think that because it allows me to like, spread out your check-in, so you're not seeing you're not talking to or interacting with every single one of your clients every day, or, all on Saturday, all on Sunday. You spread it out so that you're fresh every time that you're talking to someone. You're not, you know what I mean? Like,
you didn't just respond to 40 other people.
Exactly.
And once again, burn yourself out.
Exactly.
Which isn't fair to everybody else.
Right.
Yeah. So I love it. I mean, it's been a crazy change because I've done one-on-one coaching for one-on-one personal training for 7 years out of the 8 years that I've been in the fitness industry. So shifting it online has been something I've always wanted to do because, quite frankly, I want to be able to work from wherever I am.
Yeah.
But it's been really, really cool.
That's excellent.
I love it.
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
I love hearing that. So now let me ask you this. Let me wrap on that. So if there are any female listeners that want to get in contact with you, that aren't familiar with who you are, what's the best way that they could reach out to you?
They can reach out to me via email. My email is Carolina at fitwithcarolina.com. Or Instagram. I mean, I'm always on social media. I'm always on Instagram, Facebook. My Instagram my handle is Carol Araujo _fitness, which is, should probably find something that's easier for people to pronounce. But it's been like that for like way too many years.
No, you can't change it now.
I can't change it now
because then tags get screwed up and everything
yeah,
like that.
I know.
Just send them the links.
I've thought about it before. But yeah, either Instagram, direct message. I answer everyone. They're like, oh my God, you answer me so fast. I was like, you message me.
Phone's in my hands anyway.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit there.
Exactly.
I never understood that. I never understood how people just like, so many people just between friends and business people. Like, I just saw you watch my story. Why aren't you fucking responding to me? I just saw you post this. Your phone is in your hand. Like, don't bullshit me. We're not stupid.
Yeah. And I mean,
just answer.
Especially when you work with like all the virtual stuff. Like I work even more now because you could always be doing something. You're like, oh, I forgot to write this. I could prepare this post for tomorrow. Because I do a lot of educational material on my social media too. For a very long time, I just did like competition stuff and whatever I felt like it. And I was just like, okay, if I'm trying to help people that are on this virtual platform. Like I need them to know, I want to share a little bit of the wisdom too. And it comes with like, sharing stuff for free. It is a thing.
Yeah. Gotta give something out to entice people and go, wow, she knows that. And,
exactly.
I'd love to learn more.
Exactly. And organizing that stuff is a ton of work. And you're always like, oh, I should do this one. Oh, I should do that. And so it's like 11 o'clock at night. I was like, oh, I remember something. So I'm like always working, but I love it. I mean, I get a little tired, but it is what it is.
At least you're having caffeine a little bit, so
yeah, I'm having a little caffeine, but I'm all right. I'm enjoying it. So it's been a good ride at the beginning. I've had very good guidance in order to kind of like establish my business structure. So it's been good. It's been good so far.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's what it's all about too.
I love that. I mean, I think that's a perfect area to wrap. So I want to say, it's been an absolute pleasure sitting down talking with you. I want to hear and have you come back and sit down next year when you torch that stage up.
Sounds like a plan.
Maybe we'll have you and Marco on. It'll be the dual episode.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Cool. I'm still trying to get Isara on. I still want to get her on to talk about her journey being a mom, her competing last year.
She has a really cool story.
She's amazing. She's a rock star. I love her. She's just the superstar team, the both of them. They're just awesome. So we still got to get both of them on, but maybe we could get you and Marco on.
Absolutely.
We're going to want to get another mic, and we got some plans in the future. So
sounds awesome. Well, thank you for having me.
I mean,
of course,
our pleasure. And on that note, I'm going to have John kick this outro.
So I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in this week's episode of The Voice.
And Rizzles joined by none other than
Carolina Araujo.
Let's go. Peace.